Rock stars. There's literally nothing like those wild nights. All I did was drink and party and go to rock concerts. So I got VIP access to a certain very hot rock star's room.
This was getting a little intense for my liking.
What's your problem?
Okay.
Look, bitch, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you're no better than the rest of us.
Hey, come on, you gotta go. I'll call you.
Hey, what would you say if I were to tell you that rock stars like Terry would pay for your attention and you would be a multi-millionaire because of it?
Hey everyone, it's your girl Catherine Nunez, and you're watching Real Talk with the director and the counsel on the IE Network.
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Dupree, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
This is Vicky Judy, Orange is the New Black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Rita Parks. You are listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Testing. Technical difficulties already. What the hell? Can you hear me? I don't know. We'll see. Let me change up my headphones real quick, and then we'll be right back to you. Give me a second. And now a word from our sponsors.
I'm Yoshi Lomax, superstar attorney at law and fugitive.
So, you're the famous Yoshi Lomax.
Probably more infamous. I'm on the run from the federal government for crimes that I didn't commit.
Gentlemen, I'm Deputy U.S. Marshal Sharon Starr. I'll be taking things from here.
Not to mention being on the hit list of at least 3 of Miami's major crime bosses.
I wanted to apologize in person for leaving so abruptly last night.
Welcome back.
That's Vladimir Kuznetsov, a Russian crime boss. He's been a suspect in over a dozen missing person cases.
I mean, I didn't get here to be this successful for doing things the American way.
I need a list of the jury for my case with Hanju.
Oh, really? What's that worth to you? Oh my God, you have such a good...
Mr. Santana is to be released upon processing.
So what do you know about Sheldon Chisholm?
What do you want to know about him?
I really need to know if you're going to take my case. I don't have time to play, Miss Lomax.
Money is not a problem. You know anything about his case?
It's being handled by agents in my field office.
I've learned that in this game of life, in order to win...
Ready to dance?
You gotta play dirty. You might look at me and see a beautiful, confident, successful woman.
Congratulations, counselor. Yet another win.
But underneath, I'm flawed. I'm broken. And I'm scared. So I have no choice but to run until I can find a way to clear my name
Miss Lomax is now considered a fugitive of the United States. Catching fugitives is my business, which makes her my suspect. You and your associates are relieved.
Look. She killed one of our own.
But I will not give up.
All right, people, listen up. Get a picture of Miss Lomax out there so the public knows what she looks like.
I will not give in.
Okay. People, we got a game plan. Let's break and execute.
I will not get caught.
Time to go hunt.
Alrighty then. Testing. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. If you can hear me in the chat room, give me a hell yeah. I don't know. Give me something. Welcome to Real Talk with the Director of the Jedi Council and the Director. We will be with you the next 120 minutes or so. Ralph, I see you backstage. Can you hear me, brother? Oh, someone said, hell yeah. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Welcome back. We had a little technical difficulty. What the hell is up right there? I'm going to all types of. Okay, there we go. Little hot spot on there. So, once again, welcome back to. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you very much. Judy, thank you. Welcome back to the show, man. We're here doing our thing. That's obviously Real Talk, where we talk only the best film and television, scripted film and television. This is not a place for reality. We don't do that. There's a lot of reality is covered on all bases, so we good here. Once again, it is now September the 5th, Monday. We're glad to have you back. And yeah, I was having some crazy technical difficulties, but we got a cool show. We're going to, I know we've been taking our time with this, but we're going to once again discuss our tournament, the tournament for the best / hottest TV female character of all time, right? And that is taking the 5 decades worth of female television characters. So we have, you might have Daisy Dukes going up against, who was Pamela Anderson's? I forgot her character on Baywatch, right? So good. We're gonna break down some more things on that and talk about it, and let you guys know. I know you're probably like, some of our people probably like, when is this tournament gonna get started? But we got a few more things to iron out. Last week we got a little sidetracked. We had one of our guests, wasn't our guest, but we had one of our listeners in the chat room jump on, and we got into this whole discussion that took us somewhere different. But it's cool. We like to interact with our viewers and our audience. And if you are in the chat room and there's something that we're discussing, we will set aside a time where you could come up and discuss something that you want to discuss based on what we're talking about at the moment. So we're definitely going to have that little time squared away for you guys if you're getting around a little bit. But today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Emmy Awards, which it's a two-parter Emmy Award thing, because the primetime Emmys takes place, I think, September 12th. But what people don't realize is the Emmy Awards, the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, they have several ceremonies and several Emmy ceremonies where they give away Emmys to, people who are excellence in television on all levels. They got a sports Emmys. There's like broadcasting Emmys. There's a whole bunch. It's like I don't know. I want to say it's more than 5 of them. You have the daytime Emmys, and of course you have the primetime Emmys. So that's taking place in like next week, or it's on the 12th, or yeah, I think it's on the 12th. And then you got, but we just recently had the Creative Arts Emmy Awards, one of the many Emmy shows that they have. Like I said, they do several celebrations, and the Emmys is just basically a not-for-profit. Well, the organization is not-for-profit. Television, not motion pictures. The Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. They put on the Emmy Awards, which is basically like a fundraiser. That's really what it is. A lot of things, a little interesting note that people may or may not know. A lot of people, the Emmys, when you perform, I'm like, no, we're not. Well, if they perform, that's just like most of these shows. Grammys, all of those things, when you perform on them, they're paid. It's not a paid event because it's a fundraiser basically, because these places that throw on these shows, they're not for profits. So anyway, the Emmys has several awards throughout the year. We covered, when we were doing Block TV, we covered several of them, one being the Sports Emmys, which is a really good one. That's when they give it out to all the sports broadcasters and things like that. So this one was the Creative Arts one, and Dr. Dre and the Super Bowl halftime Pepsi show, Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar all made history by winning. They won an Emmy for their halftime show. That's never been done before. From what I've seen, I was reading up on it. I was like, wow, that kind of amazed me, because maybe this is a new category. I'm not sure, because it's weird to think that, the Prince halftime show didn't win an Emmy. It literally rained. He did Purple Rain, and it literally rained when he did it. The Michael Jackson was one of the first really big, like, epic performances on Super Bowl halftime. So there's a lot of great performances, and so this is a big deal that Dr. Dre and company were the first to win an Emmy for Super Bowl halftime performance. So big up to them. I don't have my applause set up yet, but so we'll elaborate on that, and of course we will be talking. Like I said, the Emmy Awards. We'll be talking our tournament. We'll talk about that. We'll do a little power talk. Maybe I can get Heaven Hollywood to join us a little bit later, and we could talk a little bit about power, raising Canaan, and of course, the movie topics, weekend recap. Oh, and we have a guest. We're still searching for our guest female host. So this week, we have another lovely young lady who is joining us and will be co-hosting with us tonight. Miss Kass Hill is with us, and she will join us momentarily. We'll bring her in, and we'll talk a little stuff. Big up to the International Dynasty, my man Romaine, who actually kind of put us on to each other. So that's what's up. We'll talk about that, talk to her about some of the stuff she's into, and she will help co-host with us today, maybe another day if she's interested. We're trying to, our doors are open. So if you are out there, even in the chat room or one of the listeners, and you love everything about movies and television, hey, shoot your shot. Shoot us an email or shoot us a message. Let us know. And we're looking for, like I said, we're in search of a female. You need to be a female who loves movies, loves television. Let us know. We'll bring you up. You can co-host with us and see how it goes. If you like it, and we like you, and the people like you, you never know. You might jump on and be part of the Jedi Council. Now, you got to know something about movies now. You can't just be like We're not expecting an expert, but you gotta love. First things first, you must love movies. You must love everything about film and television, not just casual film watcher and television watcher. You got to be one of those people that really loves that stuff. So, word up. Yeah, so Bobby said it's definitely a good look for hip hop. I agree. It is a great look for hip hop at this moment, and that's a good look for the NFL as well. I agree again. Hey, this is big, man. The NFL, big for hip hop. Great look for hip hop. And I have to say it because I'm old school. It's a great look for old school hip hop. The foundation, the pioneers, people like Dr. Dre, who's been doing it for, over 20 years in the business. So to bring out all of what, people would say, old school rappers, and you got Mary J. Blige, and to do that and get this win, that's big. So they should be celebrated for sure. So before I bring in the council and bring on our guest host, I'm gonna do what we always do, and that's time for the weekend recap. We need to get like a sound hit or something like or something like that before we do it, like some sort of music that leads us into the week recap. Brought to you by BoxOfficeMojo.com. The latest weekend, September 2nd to the 4th. Number 5, The Invitation, 4.9 million. Invitation, young woman. I didn't know. I never heard about this. Sony Pictures. Right now it's at 18 million worldwide, 15 million domestic. Then DC League of Super Pets still going on. That has made another 5 million, which puts it at the 161 million worldwide mark. Obviously, you got big names in that: The Rock or Dwayne Johnson, Chris. What's his name? I'm saying Chris. Kevin Hart, and a couple other people. So big names there. Spider-Man: No Way Home, the re-release of Spider-Man: No Way Home, that made another 5.4 million. This is a re-release. So the re-release is now made over this weekend 9,150,000. So it's at 9 million worldwide on the re-release. That's strictly people that wanted to go see it, that didn't get a chance to see it on the big screen. That's strictly what that is. Bullet Train, 5.7 million, which puts that 197 million worldwide, just under 200 million. And number 1 for this weekend is you guessed it, Top Gun Maverick, still holding the number 1 spot. Top Gun Maverick is now at 1 billy, 1.4 billy, 700 million domestic, 740 million international, which puts it at over 1.4 billion dollars. So that is your weekend recap, brought to you by BoxOfficeMojo.com. Very cool. Very, very cool. So, yeah, you're looking and watching and listening to Real Talk with Director and Jedi Council. I'm the director. Brought my Jedi Council with me. I have one half of them with us right now. Ralph, you in the building, bro?
What's up, everybody? Happy Labor Day. I hope somebody got some barbecue today because I didn't.
You know what? My man's here barbecued yesterday. I just didn't get a chance to eat none of it yet. So it's barbecue floating around, but I didn't.
I got none.
You got none? Oh, no, man. None. Yeah, Labor Day.
Not a piece of chicken, not a rib, not a shrimp.
Man, I don't want to sit here.
Not even a damn baked potato.
I don't want to. I don't reminisce about the good old days, but I mean, bruh, in the 80s and the 90s, Labor Day was like the last day that you could really get a nice barbecue in, because then school would start and things, and you don't have another break until like
Thanksgiving, really.
Thanksgiving. And there's no more barbecues there. So this is like,
you got that last cheeseburger, that last hot dog on the grill.
Yep.
Now nothing, man.
Oh wow.
So
too much.
No barbecue to me.
I'm having a lot of technical difficulties. My lights are going out. My mics are going out. My headphones.
Wow. It's storming up here. But I wanted to comment about the box office thing. And let me just say, we talked about this last week. It's really sad that a movie that was re-released for was that National Movie Weekend that was re-released, no extra scenes, nothing new to it. Right. Actually, almost could have topped the box office. That's really sad, Hollywood.
Yeah, we talked about it last.
I'm just letting y'all know. That's really sad.
Yeah, we talked about it already last week. The box office is not back. Unfortunately, it's not back. You thought that maybe at this time, COVID was kind of, sort of dying down. I'm never going to push the narrative that it was completely gone, but it seemed like it was trying to get under control, and then Shazam, monkeypox, I just think people. But we talked about this last week briefly, right? It's a combination of things. It's not just that. It's the streaming services like Peacock that decides to stick with the day-to-day type of release. They're doing that with Halloween. What's it called? Halloween Ends or whatever, or Halloween Dies, something like that. But it's they're doing that. They're releasing that date to date, so that will come out on my birthday, October 14th. And so I mean, let's be honest. People who during the pandemic, people went out and invested in huge TVs. It was like, yo, we gonna watch our stuff right here. I just paid $1,000 for this huge television. I'm gonna utilize it. I'm not gonna go. What's the point of going to movies? So
that's
it's a combination of stuff. We went over some of it, and it's a combination of stuff. But the bottom line is, no matter what you feel it is, the movies, the box office is not back, people. It's sad to say, but that's what it is. And I'll be the first to tell you, I ain't been back to the theater. I did go see Spider-Man No Way Home. That was the last thing I saw in the movie theater. I didn't even see Doctor Strange in the movie theater. I didn't see it.
I go to movies. I mean, I said last week, I said that, I don't think the box office is going to come back till Halloween and Black Adam come. I forgot about this movie, Don't Worry, Darling. I think that's going to be the sleeper because of all the controversy around it with Shia LaBeouf and Olivia Wilde and her ex giving her the divorce papers. I think it's going to say, that's the movie that you were directing and you started cheating on your man with Harry Styles, and obviously Florence Pugh, the star of the movie, didn't like it, and now there's all this kind of. I think that's going to generate a lot of interest. People going to be like,
it might
go check this out.
It might,
but still, like I said, it's just sad that a film with no new scenes, no new effects, the exact same movie, and realistically speaking, just came on DVD a couple of months ago. Almost tops the box office. That's Hollywood. Come on, fellas. Come on.
Yeah.
Not for nothing, Hollywood. You guys got a bunch of movies that's been sitting in your vaults that have never seen the light of day. Maybe it's time to crack one of them open and put it out there and say, let's Warner Brothers. Maybe this would have been the time for you to say, you know what? Let's put this bad movie out there. Just for the hell of it. Just for the hell of it.
It's not even 9:30 yet, Ralph. You're getting on Warner Brothers already. It's not even 9:30, right?
I know. It's not even complete. Let's just put out there where it says special effects. It says special effects coming soon. Something like that. Missing Real. Like they do the old. Remember when you see like the old movies like in the 70s, and it was like Missing Real, and it just zoomed in.
That's just terrible.
Now this ain't
Yeah,
about
come
this
on.
one ain't about Warner Brothers today. But
No,
I'm
it's
just
not. It's not. It's not
overall
about Warner Brothers.
Hollywood.
Overall, Hollywood is just. But you know what? They're too busy belly aching about the success of the superhero films. Like, just leave it alone. And I mean, because Hollywood itself is a bunch of, they only go with what they think works. If something works before, that's the model they want to follow. Until someone's bold enough to do something different, then they want to follow that model. That's pretty much how Hollywood works, unfortunately. They're not the type to put the, to take the chance, but, oh, here's a new, bold filmmaker. Let's put this person out. Everything in Hollywood works, like we used to say in Block TV. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. That's what it's about.
Exactly.
Because the first thing they ask, and my manager says this to me all the time. He's a Hollywood studio guy, right? And he's like, the first thing they're going to ask you is, who's this person? Who is this? I don't know them. I don't know who this is. I don't want to work with them. What has he done? What has she done? Oh, she's done something. I don't know that. So then they don't want to work with you. It's like a country club.
Who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Who the hell are you?
And the funny thing is that the sad part about it is the ones that making those decisions are the latte drinking, ankle tattoo having, like you always say, it's those executives that have not one creative bone
the
in
latte
their body.
Drinking, ankle tattoo having, yoga pants wearing, right? Executives
that does not have one creative bone in their body, but they got money. So guess what? They call the shots. So that's how it works. So, it's all good. Don't get me started on Hollywood, but that's all good. Yo, let's bring in our, we're not
going to deal with that today. Not today.
We're not doing that today. Let's bring in our guest host. Like I said, we've been all year long. We've been, searching for that female Jedi. Maybe she could be a Padawan and learn from the Jedi masters such of ourselves and can become a master one day, But we can't hold it back too long. We don't want an Anakin on our hands where it's like, they're holding me back. And that's how Vader was born. But anyway, let's bring her in, man. Kass Hill's in the building. What's going on, Kass?
Hey, Wes. I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Hello. How are you?
Hi. Nice to meet you, Ralph.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for joining us, Kass. We appreciate you. She actually joined us, and I asked her last minute too. She's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I only asked her like a couple days ago, so I was like, but it's good. We appreciate you. Welcome to the show, everybody in the chat room. Welcome, Kass Hill, to the show, and we'll keep it going. So, Kass, we met. Like I said, big up to International Dynasty, Romaine. That's a company that we both mutually work for, and we that's how we met. So it's cool. Like I said, I told her everything about what we're trying to do over here, and Kass is gonna probably hopefully she'll be able to come on and help us do some other things behind the scenes, but she's more than welcome to always come on the show and have fun and talk about films. What was the first thing I asked you? I said, all you gotta do is, do you love films?
Do you love movies?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, so anybody,
that's why I'm
requirement
here.
one. That's requirement one. You getting in the door. That's the only way you get in the door, that you love movies. So it's like walking into a church saying, I don't believe in God. So it's like, do we want to let you know? But that's good. But how's everything out there?
It's hot.
It is,
I live in the
right?
desert, so it's hot. We're waiting for those fall months.
You just moved out that way?
No, I've been in Vegas for about 6 years now.
Where are you at? And where?
I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. I know. I just left there. When I left, 103. 103 plus.
No. We've been on like a heat wave. It's been like 110, 111.
Oh, Vegas and Arizona is the exact opposite of Toronto, Canada. Like
Yeah.
Toronto, Canada be code for no reason, like OD code. Like it's like and even like they go they use Celsius, right? So their stuff goes way below zero because they're reading it off Celsius, but it'd be below 0 Fahrenheit too. I'm like, what the hell? It is just OD code for no reason when it gets over there. Same thing. Exact reverse with Vegas and Arizona. They just OD hot for no damn reason.
Yeah, we do get the extreme cold though. You know, middle of winter is not fun. Like you cannot go outside without a jacket. Like,
but that's that desert. That's that weird desert weather where you could be in the desert and halfway die of thirst during the day and then almost freeze to death at night. It's like what the hell?
I've been a desert flower since I was 19. I went to school. I went to ASU in Arizona, so I experienced that extreme weather, and then I found my way here in Nevada, and where I stay.
Yeah, you're like, wow. You know, actually the desert might be a great place to torture somebody. Right?
I'm not going to say anything about that, but I tell people, say, look, don't start no crap right here because the desert's only 5 minutes away. You know, it ain't hard to dig a hole and leave your ass out there. It ain't hard.
Yo,
if I open the trunk,
and I'm sure there's plenty
of run.
I'm sure there's shovels, some lime, right? You know.
Okay, I'm checked out, ladies and gentlemen. I am not part of this conversation.
Yeah, she's like the views.
That's good, fellas. That's good.
The views and points expressed by Wes Clark and Ralph Thuria, not the views of Kass Hill. So
blame that on Warner Brothers. Goodfellas, Casino.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We know there's a couple of bodies out in that desert. Probably under the palms before they built the palms.
I wouldn't doubt it.
We all know how that goes. But yeah, so what else, Kass? You let's talk about you for a second before we go into the rest of the show. We know that you're a writer, and you know I call you an industry professional because you do a little bit of everything. So what have you been working on lately?
Well, right now I'm getting into talent management. Some new artists coming in, but aside from that, I model out here in the city, and through that I've networked. I've met a lot of industry professionals, photographers, music artists, venue owners. So a lot of what I do is networking, getting people connected to who they need. So from there, I mean, I've created, directed fashion shows. I've done pageant work. I coach pageant girls, that kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, I've just kind of dabbled in the industry for a few years now, about five years.
Yeah. So what do you prefer? In front of the camera or behind the camera? Like, do you like behind the scenes better, or do you like working in front of the camera better?
Oh yes, I'm a behind the scenes type of person.
Yeah.
I'm okay with never being famous, but being infamous. You might not ever see my face, but you'll definitely know my name.
Yeah, that's great, because in today's culture, there's really a very blurred line between famous and infamous.
Yeah,
you can take either one. I mean, but it's been that way. I'm not gonna blame it on today's culture, because it's been that way for a long time. When you really think about it, Al Capone, infamous, but he's very famous, right? He's infamous, and he's been talked about in movies and portrayed in movies multiple times. The best by Robert De Niro, of course, in Goodfellas, but he's infamous. Bonnie and Clyde, infamous.
Right.
But people talk about them. People, so it's a very blurred line. So that's what's up. You can't really be. Yeah. It's really no such thing as bad fame these days.
Right. No, and that's the thing. Is like I just want to make sure that I create that boundary for myself and make sure that I stick true to what I why I started, which is to basically hone in on other people's skills and get them to share their talents. I love art. I love anything to do with art.
Yeah. So when you do the modeling stuff, it was really kind of like networking tool.
Yeah, it
You
was for
know,
me.
I
It was an
mean,
outlet. It was an
yeah,
outlet. And then through
okay.
that, I learned like, wow, it's really easy to, know this person, know that person, get them,
Yeah,
mingle.
it's a
So yeah, so I just stuck with it, and then I got into the pageant world. I did some, I didn't want to go there. It was a
now the
mess.
pageant world gets hectic.
No,
I know someone who produced in the pageant world, and she used to. I mean, she had very long, beautiful hair, but she was ready to pull it out because she gets
yeah.
it gets stressful.
I was
The
like, I
pageant world can
cannot,
get pretty
like, this
stressful.
is great, but no, this is not.
Nah,
I'd rather
I
work
hear
with
you.
musicians.
I hear you. It's fun. So we have to, like we ask everybody to come up here. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you could, even if it's not like any particular order, give me your top 5 films, your favorites. These are just your favorites. There's no right or wrong answer. You know,
Okay. So one of my go-tos is The Mummy with Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser's The Mummy.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's just
Brendan
action
Fraser
packed,
just Brendan Fraser just got. He was just in the news, right? Because he got some sort of standing ovation. He got choked up and stuff like that for a
Yeah.
performance in another film that he did. Yeah, very cool. And what was
I think it's called
the other
Whale. The Whale.
one? The Whale. Yeah.
Yep. I just read that.
Okay.
But yeah, he's true to my heart, man. Like, I love that guy.
Yes.
And so I'm not gonna lie, huge Resident Evil fan. I love the whole thing. I mean, but part 2 is my favorite. So.
You like that? You like the ass kicking women, right?
Heck yeah, man. There's something so
Mila.
cool about zombies, like, I gotta pick my
Mila.
apocalypse team,
Yeah. I mean, I was one. Was that one of not one of the first apocalypse films, but I mean, it really brought from the game. That was one of the only game to movie films that really hit
worked.
and worked.
Yeah.
Everyone else.
When Doom came out, I was actually pretty excited about that, and Dwayne Johnson actually played the leading role in that.
When what came out?
Doom.
Oh,
that was a video game too.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Up into the part where they went to like the first player perspective, and you see him going through the maze. Then it got good. That was like 2 minutes.
I know.
Then
it went back. I was like,
Yeah.
damn.
No, I feel that, but
Oh, we lost him.
Sorry, we lost.
That's okay.
No, I agree with you though. It wasn't long enough in that first player mode, but
Oh, nice.
it was so exciting when it came out.
So you giving me Resident Evil? We'll say all of them. You giving me what was the first one you said? What was the first one you said? See, my mom.
The Mummy.
Mummy, right? Brandon Fraser.
Yeah.
Okay, give me another one. Give me 2. Give me 3 more.
Let's see. So.
And if you're not sure what's your favorite, what is a movie that will come on television and whatever you're doing, you'll stop and watch it? That's one of your favorites. That's all you have to think about.
Let's see. I'm sure I had my list too.
Sit through commercials and everything. That's how I know it's my favorite. That's how I determine my favorite. That's how I had to put The Breakfast Club on my top 5 because I was like, I don't care when The Breakfast Club comes on, I will stop and watch it. And I've seen it a million times, so so it has to be on my top 5.
Well, okay. My favorite genre is horror, so I literally cannot come away from that.
Oh, Kevin, I love you.
Chick
Our
flicks and
other
stuff.
co-host Kevin, he's the horror guy. He would love you already.
Well, so let me deter a little bit. So The Notebook is one of those, heartfelt, gotta come down to size a little bit, brings out your emotions, So that's classic. There's a movie called Big Fish, and okay, so that's also another one, more for that imaginary part. And then The Night at the Museum.
Night at the Museum.
It's fun and it's playful, and it's actually is that how they could have been? All the characters in real life. So
it's funny. You mentioned museum. and you're a horror fan, there's a film, and it's not really a horror, but it's kind of like a horror. There's a film called Waxwork. It's an older film. It's called Waxwork, which deals with like a wax museum, and it's kind of like a horror film. It's it's not nothing. I don't even know if that even came out in the theater. Something I saw back on cable, but it was called Waxwork. It was a very interesting film. Bro, check it out. But it was kind of like a horror film with the waxwork. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. So that was 5 you gave us.
That was 5.
Yeah,
I
there you
did
go.
it.
Hey, no particular order. There's no right or
No
wrong.
particular order. Yeah.
What is what do you consider what do you look for when you really just go to see a movie? Like, what is your priority when you go see a movie? What is your goal? Like meaning like to be fulfilled or whatever.
Well, it's character development. It's even with animated shows. Like, if I'm not interested in more than one character, I can lose interest at least 20 minutes into the movie. I kind of decide right then and there if I like the movie. For example, I went and saw the DC Super Pets movie, and at first I was like, man, yes, it's Superman. He's got this dog, like, it's so cool. But like kind of towards the middle of the movie, it kind of like because they weren't really doing much with like the other heroes that they were bringing on into the script, and so for me it just kind of felt flat a little bit until it picked back up, which I'm happy I gave myself that time to like let it happen. But yeah, that, and then I love action, so like I want to see things happen. I don't want to see like 5-10 minutes of just like talking.
So you like to get right to the action, you know what I mean?
I'm okay with the backstory, let me know, but like that character development is really like an important piece. I want to feel connected in some way, like kind of relate to them, or be like, oh, I wish I knew that person in real life, make me feel invested in watching the storyline.
Characters. I mean, it's very that's where it all starts, right? You have to try to create, and as a creator, I try to create dynamic characters that have depth, and stuff like that. So to be able to do that, something you lost. What's going on with your picture there, Ruff? It's like your camera's blocked. Okay. No problem.
Yeah, I'm having.
It's
I'm having a slight technical difficulty.
Yeah.
There we go.
StreamYard is on one today, but it's crazy. But
I think it's because it's a storm outside. That's why it's a little messed up.
Oh, you got a storm going on out there. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. It's raining here on the East Coast, so it's a little messed up.
Got you. Yeah, but I tell you, man, that's cool. Well, we're glad that we have you aboard, and so for me, like we was talking about characters. Yeah, I think it's very important. I definitely look at that. I'm not necessarily looking for the action right away. I just want to, I guess, because I look at films way differently. You know what I mean? So it's like, as a writer, we had when I went to get my master's in creative writing, we had a class where all we did was study film and try to pinpoint what's called the 3-act structure when in writing, right? It's 3 acts in every film. Every film has a 3-act structure, right? And sometimes it's harder. It's easier to pick them out, and harder sometimes. But basically, part of the 3-act structure is almost always, building the character in the first act. So build it, because you need to know they're gonna go on what's called the hero's journey, right? So you're following this character, you're seeing the film through their eyes, so to speak. So you gotta build that character, get the audience hooked onto that character, whether they're gonna die or not, and then go on with them through the journey or whatever. So I like to, break that stuff down. But now, everyone who listens to the show and knows me knows I say always say this: I have to see films at least 2 times, maybe 3 times, because the first time I watch it, I'm strictly watching it for entertainment. The second time I watch it is education. I'm learning from it, or I'm trying to break it down, and I'm saying, oh, okay, this is what's going on. And then like the third time, once again, is more of observation, right? So it's like entertainment, or I could switch it up: entertainment, observation, education. It's always those three when I watch a film. That's why I usually have to watch a film at least 3 times. Yeah, and get it. But that's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
And, film is that shit. So we have so topics we talked about. The Emmys is the creative arts version of the Emmys. Like I said at the top of the show, the Emmy Awards, the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, they put on several Emmy Award shows. Um, we used to have a show called Block TV where we did a lot of red carpet stuff and red carpet interviews and things, and um, we covered the sports Emmys, and we covered another one because it's like 7 of them. There's a few of them. Right? It's like, but they're not all televised, obviously, right? The ones that's televised is the daytime Emmys and the primetime Emmys. Then you got like the technical Emmys and the sports broadcasting and all this other stuff that you get, and apparently the creative arts Emmys. So this one wasn't televised, but you still get the Emmy. Dr. Dre and Friends had that what I felt was that awesome Super Bowl halftime performance. Obviously, I'm not the only one who felt that way because they won an Emmy. So it just won an Emmy. So applause to them.
Yeah.
Big up to them because it's a huge. One of the people in the chat rooms just pointed it out. This is a good look for hip hop. Because hip hop being the first one. This is the first time that this award has ever been won for this particular type of performance. So you got and think about this. You're talking about Michael Jackson, Prince. Like I said at the top of the show, Prince literally made it rain. He didn't make it rain, but it felt like he made it rain. He sang "Purple Rain" and started raining
In the rain.
So, yeah, and he sat out there and played that electric guitar in the rain. And killed it. Michael Jackson, probably one of the first big epic performances at a Super Bowl halftime. He kind of kicked that thing off. Like after he did his, everybody going forward had to do like a big epic, performance. So that is but none of them has ever won an Emmy.
I'm happy it was who it was. I mean, like these were artists that my generation grew up with, and they set the tone for hip hop at that time. And just to see all of them collaborate, I mean, it's so like smooth. Like I mean, it couldn't have gone any better. I mean, obviously, how could they were? But the show as a whole was just phenomenal, and my heart was kind of like, man, like this is a big deal like right now. And I hope that 5-10 years from now we can look back and say, yeah, like collectively, together we all know that was a statement in and of itself for the entertainment industry.
Yeah, it was a good look. It was a good look. I really enjoyed the performance. Like you said, our generation, we grew up with these people. With these artists. I was particularly happy to see Mary J. Blige out there doing her thing. And I'm just happy that they won this award. It was well deserved because I was very entertained. It was hip hop at its purest, and everyone loved it. A lot of people were entertained by it, And I think it was one of the first times it was an all hip hop bill. Even though Mary J. Blige is like hip hop R&B, but this is the first time in the Super Bowl halftime where it was an all hip hop bill, like street, like hip hop. I mean, I don't know if they did. I know the Black Eyed Peas performed. They didn't do a whole. Did they do one by themselves? Or they never did one. I mean, they're hip. They're hip hop. So Oh wait, Ralph, you're muted. Say that again.
I said exactly. That's hip hop pop. That's not really.
Yeah, right. That's hip hop. So not really like hip hop. So yeah, this is the first time that has ever happened. So big up to them, man. Big up to them. So I think what we should do, Ralph, is since she is our guest host, we need to explain to her what we're doing with this tournament that we got going on.
Okay, that's really simple. That I'm actually looking forward to getting into this thing. The more and more I'm working on it. All right, a couple of months ago, the last couple of years since we've been doing this show, right, we started getting requests from. I would have to say for this to be somewhat, not to try to sound chauvinistic, but a little chauvinistic. The men that watch the show asking, hey, who is the hottest girl on TV? Who's the hottest girl on TV? So we started doing this list once a year of who we thought were the hottest women on broadcast television.
Right.
So earlier, a couple of months ago, someone hit me up and said, no, Ralph, when you guys doing this list again? So I started thinking about it. I said, you know what? Instead of us doing the hottest woman on television for this year, why don't we do the hottest woman ever on television? So I started coming up and said, well, okay, you got to have some rules. So rule number one, right, is that if you were a child actor on the show, you could not be considered for this thing because you're a child, and that's 17 and under can be right. So then I started looking at lists because we had two people originally on the list that started as child actors, teenagers, but became adults by the time the show ended. And I was like, well, theoretically, couldn't we put them on the list? And like, no, because we established this rule. If you were a child actor, you couldn't be. So some people, when we do this, that's why Christina Applegate is now on this list, although she's rarely deserving, but she can't because she started when she was 17 years old. Right. The second rule was that you actually had to be a cast member, not a special appearance. You had to be a cast member
of the show,
and it could not be a reality TV show. It had to be a real TV show.
Yeah.
So
scripted television show.
Scripted television show. No matter what station it was on, had to be a scripted television show.
So that automatically disqualifies, the Kardashians and like that who does reality shows.
Right. So sorry, people. No Kim Kardashian.
No Kim in this one. Sorry.
So
Kim,
what we did is that. Oh, and then the last rule, which I had to add, was that since we're talking about all time, if you are on a show that started in 2020, you cannot be put in this list because you're too new. You're too new. Right. So sorry, that's why P Valley is no one from P Valley is on this.
Yeah.
They're too new.
They deserve to be on it.
They deserve, but no P Valley. Yeah. So we went and we looked at from the 70s to 2010s. Right. We picked 64 women. So realistically speaking, the 70s to 2010 gave us 60 girls, but we do a tournament of 64. So I picked 4 old school classic actresses to add to the list also, which round out this entire 64. So we have a battle of 64 women, strong, beautiful, bold, trend-setting, iconic,
and we're mostly focusing on the characters. I want to add that too.
Right.
Even though the actresses played them, but we're focusing
looking at
on
the character.
The character. So like if you've seen a favorite character from whatever show, that's what the focus is on, because it's still about film and television, right? So because I'm gonna share this screen. I'm gonna try to see if I can bring up the list so you can kind of see it there. Let's see if we can.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so here's the 70s. And this will also give everyone a reminder as well. I think this is the final list, Ralph.
This is the final list. of everybody that is in our tournament. Like I said, it spanned from 1970 up to 2019. That's where it goes up to.
Right.
Right.
Now we have the actress names listed because we wanted to give them some props because they did play the character.
They did play the characters.
But when we actually do the judging, it's based on the character, not really.
Right, not really the actual person. We had a very long discussion last week about the word look. And I want to add to that we are talking about the character. And I'm saying that because some of the people on this list, they are on shows that have multiple women on the show. We are not judging them. Like if you see this list right here, you see Suzanne Summers, right? Now she was on Three's Company, but that was with Joyce DeWitt.
Mm-hmm.
And then later you had Priscilla Barnes, you had so we are not judging was Suzanne Summers the best looking woman on that television show. That's a debatable question. However, her character Chrissy, was she the most important female on the show?
Right.
That's a different story.
Right.
Right.
So and she was definitely one of the most popular characters. Other than Jack Tripper, she was probably the most popular female on the show, and she wasn't even on the show.
She was on the show for like 2 years, and that's it.
Yeah.
So that is what we are looking at, and we have some criteria of certainly at the low end of the spectrum. If you want to say their physical appearance, yes. The high end of the spectrum, the impact you made on the screen, your longevity, how long were you actually on the screen?
The impact on pop culture.
Pop culture.
So that's what we still hear. Catherine Bach played Daisy Dukes. They literally call the shorts Daisy Duke shorts. Right. That's an impact on pop culture that you see.
You see Farrah Fawcett, and I particularly put that picture of Farrah Fawcett. That picture of Farrah Fawcett in that poster is one of the biggest selling posters of anybody in all time history. Yep. That's like wow. Yeah. And you could think of all the times you go into a store and you happen to, which they don't really do it that much some places, but posters, or even if like one person was on a t-shirt, and because they were on a t-shirt, the t-shirt just sold and sold and sold.
Yeah,
that's an impact in pop culture.
That's an impact in pop culture when you think about that. Bernadette Stan she was on Good Times. She was one of the, Thelma from Good Times. Everybody talked about her. You know what I mean? So it's like so many different people. So let's go to the 80s. So then here's the 80s lineup, right? The 80s ladies, and so once again, when you think about pop culture, this is where that conversation that we had with one of the guests, not guests, but one of the listeners. So now, Felicia Rashad played Claire Huxtable on the Cosby Show. So I just want to bring this to your attention so you understand where we were coming from with that conversation. Claire Huxtable, up until that point where Claire Huxtable came into play, women, period, not just black women, women were portrayed a certain way on television. They were
motherly, childbearers,
homemaker, maid, like that was women on television before Claire Huxtable. Claire Huxtable hits the scene, and yes, she's attractive, whatever else you want to, but she is a lawyer, a businesswoman, a mother, a wife, and all of these things. You never saw that image really depicted before Claire Huxtable.
On television before.
On television.
And let me interject there also because we'll say, well, wait a minute, Ralph, you got Joan Collins in there. Yes, Joan Collins, but however, the character that Joan Collins played on Dynasty came from money.
From money.
If you look at all the women
Dynasty,
here,
Dallas, they all those characters already came from money.
So if you look at all the women here on this list right here, with the exception of Joan Collins' character, all these women were working class women. All of them.
Yeah.
Right. Erin Gray played, I think on Silver Spoon, she or like even if you think Buck Rogers, she was in the military. Holly Robinson was an undercover cop. I forget what Jackie did. I mean, Jasmine Guy was a student. Olivia Brown was a cop. You know, Marquis Post. I mean, she was a lawyer. Lisa Bonet was just a teen girl. And I know what you're saying. Say, well, wait a minute. You got Lisa Bonet on there. Wasn't she a teenager? No, she was not. When she was on the Cosby Show, she was not a teenager. She was a full-grown adult.
Or
playing a teenager.
Take your pick. Cosby Show, A Different World, whichever one.
In A Different World. Same thing. Yeah. The same thing with Justine Bateman, the exact same story. She was a full-grown adult playing a teenager, which isn't uncommon. Like, same thing with Holly Robinson, full-grown adult, but she was playing trying to look like a teenager to go undercover in schools. Right.
And then when you think about
that's what we were trying.
They had characters they were all full-grown actors playing, teenagers in that show.
So that's what we were trying to explain last week. So and then when you go into the 90s, and from this point on, after Felicia Rashad, all women started looking different. Oh, Dad, this is the wrong list because Christina Applegate is still on it. She has to.
Oh yeah.
I thought I sent you the updated one. So what's?
You might have. I grabbed this from an old thing, but this might be an older list.
But like Christina Applegate. Okay, so like this one from the 90s, we took out Christina Applegate because it found out when she started, she was 17 years old. But then you see Alyssa Milano, and that's not even though Melissa Milano was originally on Who's the Boss. In this period of the 90s, she was on Charmed, so she's a full-grown person.
She's full-grown, so that's why she made.
Same thing with Karen Parsons. She was full-grown, right? I think we took Sarah Michelle Gellar off, but
we did. Yeah,
let's say for the sake of this discussion, she was a full-grown adult playing a teenager, so they don't count. But if you look at this list for the 90s, even if for the sake of this discussion right now. You just look at this. Christina Applegate is always Kelly Bundy to this day is iconic, right? Yeah. And it goes back to what we were saying last week with the idea of looks, because you could sit and say when Christina Applegate came out as Kelly Bundy, she played the stereotypical blonde dumb girl. Yeah. Blonde dumb girl. How many blondes do you see on TV today that are smart as hell? That are intelligent, because it started with Kelly Bundy, but then the show, which she's not on our list, is girl named Nikki Cox. She played in a TV show called Unhappily Ever After, where she was the hot brunette girl, but she was a genius on the show. And then you could go into the Big Bang Theory. I mean, although Kelly wasn't dumb, she certainly wasn't but she's going up against scientists. But look at the other ladies that came onto the show that were regulars, Bernadette and Amy. Yeah. They were attractive women, but they were smart as hell. They were not, and that even translates the word nerd. Because on the show, they refer to themselves as nerds. But if you really look at the Big Bang Theory, all of them, all four of the guys, all of them were always surrounded by women in some way, shape, or form. They may not picked up the signs that girls were throwing to them, but they were always surrounded by women. Women were always coming to them.
Yeah.
Right. So that once again, that particular look of the nerd. With the thick glasses, with a pocket protector, or snot running out your nose. With Big Bang Theory, that whole look has changed.
Right. That whole
because not before that.
Before that, we had Urkel.
You had Steve Urkel, right? But certainly Steve Urkel, the look of Steve Urkel would not play today in today's times. You know.
Yeah.
So that's what we were talking.
Just to break there for a second. About the nerd. Did you ever see the movie, Cass? You ever saw the movie? We just mentioned 21 Jump Street. You ever see the 21 Jump Street movie with with what's his name?
It was just on last. Matter of fact, it was just on last night. It was just on last night.
Okay, they actually touched on that in the movie. Remember they talked about how nerds aren't nerds somewhere. Like he was still thinking like nerds should be given wedgies and. So they no longer have, and I mentioned that once before. I said today's era and the modern nerd are not nerds anymore, and or it's like it's cool, right, to be a nerd, or you no longer have the stereotypical the dumb jock, the ditzy cheerleader, and the nerdy geek, right? Now you have a combination. Now jocks are smart. So that stereotype has been broken. You got, my son was a jock in school and he was, getting high grades. What I mean? So that's that. I think that's pretty funny that 21 Jump Street, the movie, kind of touched on that, because he remember when he was in high school, he was used to beating up nerds, giving them wedgies and stuff.
Yeah,
so
then he couldn't get anybody. He
Not no
wasn't
more
getting
than
attention.
now that
Yeah.
nerd might now that nerd might turn around. He's 225, 6'3". He could bench pressure. Like,
I know.
you're not a nerd. Yes. Why? Just because I know philosophy?
Right, right. Let me ask you this, Cass. As we're going through this list, now I know you're in a generation that's a lot of this stuff you may not have seen, especially first run, but you might have seen your reruns or syndication, or if you watch Tubi, you might see some of the nostalgia shows. Any of these are resonating with you as we're going through these characters?
Well, especially in the 90s. I mean, my parents were really into television, and we would all just kind of hang out around the couch. I remember some of these ladies, especially, I know Christina Applegate is not supposed to, but Married with Children, we watched that all the time. So you know what I mean? Like that was like a family go-to. But one of the biggest ones, especially for growing up, was Sarah Michelle Gellar. She was Buffy the Vampire, and that was just like a whole new world. I mean, every other girl I was friends with, that's what we talked about. So
So there you go. Especially in the 90s, for me it was. I mean, I watched all of these shows. To be honest with you, it's pretty much all of them I watched. But it's amazing that between myself, our other co-hosts Kevin and Ralph, we've definitely seen all of these shows.
At least one episode. At least one
episode of all of them. The Fresh Prince, of course, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I watched. That's Karen Parsons. I did watch the Jamie Foxx show. Is Garcelle right there, and I watched all of them. I mean, so these they all resonated. You got Kirstie Alley from Cheers. Cheers was one of my favorite shows. When she came on, it was a big deal.
I'm gonna lie. Now,
when she came on, it was a big deal because she. That brunette style, because you went from the blonde that they had there, and then they completely flipped the script and brought on this brunette, and she just had this thing about her.
With the husky voice.
The husky voice. I mean, they both were witty. The characters were very witty, but she was more like, she was a challenge. She was even more of a challenge for Sam. Believe it or not, because Sam and what was her name? Diane, I think. The first character. Sam and Diane, they were
Diane Chambers.
They always had chemistry. Those two characters, some way, shape, or form. It didn't take as long for Sam to crack that shell than it did for him to. Kirstie Alley's character was a challenge for him because he was used to getting what he wanted, women and stuff like that. So Sam Malone was like the classic, playboy, retired, his character, playboy, retired athlete, getting women, and he just got to this woman and he just couldn't crack that shell. But it was like, so it was a nice contrast between the two. I don't know if you ever watched Cheers, but it was.
Oh, long time ago.
I
watched that with my grandparents.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Exactly. So, all right, we'll just finish up. We'll go through the rest of the list just so you can kind of get an idea of what we're doing, and then we'll kind of put it forward. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we do this with we've done tournaments with the best movie song, right? We did a song, Ralph, I think.
Yeah, we did songs. We're the ones that originated. We didn't originate the idea of the verses, but we were the ones that started doing the movie verses. Right? Where we took two actors, and took 20 of their movies and put them up against each other and saw who was really better. We did do that one. We did TV movie songs. I know we did sequels. We did villains. I'm still mad about that villain was. I'm sorry. I don't see how Hannibal Lecter beat Darth Vader. I just don't. But that's what was the sermon. I can't. I'm saying Hannibal Lecter can't do nothing against Vader. I'm sorry. He just can't. But
I don't even remember that. Wait, he ended up he won that tournament?
He won that tournament. I'm still like, I don't understand that one. But once again, I'm like, okay.
Vader must have got taken out by somebody then.
I don't know who took, but whoever
somebody
took Vader,
knocked
was like,
Vader off early then. It was probably because it's no way that they met in the final.
That's how it was voted. I voted for Vader. I got overturned. I was like, okay.
Wow.
I don't understand it, but okay.
See, sometimes like Ralph has a famous saying, cutthroat.
Cutthroat.
These tournaments are cutthroat. No. And we also did one, Cass, where we did a tournament where we it was the Action Heroes, right? Like
Action Heroes.
We did Heroes.
We did film sequels. So we've done these before, and it always turned out pretty good. Sometimes very controversial. I'm sorry. It's particularly this film sequel where it came down to either the Avengers or the Dark Knight, and people felt that the Avengers was the better sequel than the Dark Knight, and I'm still shaking my head like, no, but that's how it was voted. I know you Marvel fans out there. That's how I was voted. So I'm going
to. That's how I was voted. Because the Avengers, I mean, I don't know. We were talking about what? Endgame? Avengers Endgame or Infinity War? Which one was it?
I think it was the original Avengers sequel. The first Avengers was considered a sequel. I still don't understand that.
That's kind of like a cheat code because is it really a sequel?
No, it's not.
It's really not. It's not really. So I don't know, but they turn out to be really fun. So let's quickly go over. Here's the 2000s, contestants from television. Once
now,
again,
everybody in this era is correct. We didn't take anybody out. Like I said, but even from this picture right here, you have two blondes. You had Kelly Coco. You got Christina Bell. That could have transcended the same look of the dumb blonde girl, but Kelly Coco's Penny wasn't dumb, and certainly Kristen Bell was not dumb at all. She was out there solving cases. I mean, and then even if you think Elijah Cuthbert from 24, she was kind of smart. She did not transcend the typical dumb blonde. And certainly Tricia Helfer. Jesus, I mean, come on, she started the destruction of mankind, Battlestar Galactica. So
exactly. So I mean, like you said, the closest to that was Kelly Coco's character of what's her name? Penny. So Penny was not dumb. She just was up against a bunch of scientists. So they make us all look dumb. So,
but then again, even with that
who made fun of her being so-called dumb was Sheldon, really.
Right, but even with that one, although Sheldon felt that she didn't have, he even said, "You don't have the intellectual source that we have, but you have a different kind of smart. You have social skills, which we're lacking
skills
in.
And street smarts that they lacked. So
that's
it was
what
a
I
nice
loved about
balance.
her character. She brought that balance to the group.
Yeah.
She did. Because everyone else there was scientists and doctors and stuff like that, and she really brought that balance of.
She worked in the Cheesecake Factory.
Social skills, street smarts. That was her thing. So she made that. So on to the 2010s, which is the last era.
Now in this one, we had to make some significant changes. We took out Gabrielle Union. And Rosario Dawson
and Carrie, right? No, we left Carrie.
No, we took out Gabrielle Union and Rosario Dawson because although they weren't on TV shows, they're really movie stars.
Yeah,
I mean, you see.
So we're gonna do a movie one as well. We're gonna do one for the movie stars,
which is gonna be super
they're
hard.
more like movie stars than TV stars, even though they were on TV shows.
Right. So they had to go. And we have to take out Sophie Turner because when she started the show, she was only, I think, 15 years old. So we can't have ladies start on the show. So they all got replaced. And then I think we also we replaced Olivia Chang with someone else.
Yeah, I think it was with
I think it's with Lucy Liu.
I can't remember. Lucy Liu.
I think it was Lucy Liu. We changed that too. So, but once again, all these women. I mean, I think the top draft pick in this class in 2010 is certainly Priyanka Chopra because she was the only reason to watch Quantico. I'm sorry, people. She was.
It is what
she
it
was.
Is. I mean,
from the minute she came on the screen.
I'm gonna have my male moment here and just say, listen, okay. I watched. Let me tell you something. This is so bad. I'm such a male with this one. I don't know what I was like editing or something, and Priyanka Chopra jumps on my screen, and I'm looking. What is this? I have the volume down to nothing. It's muted, and I'm like, what's going on here? Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. Then I'm like, I turn up the thing to hear what she's saying. And I'm like, oh, this is a show called Quantico. I think I'm going to watch that. Strictly.
It was the only reason to watch it. I'm sorry. I hate to say it.
Hey,
nothing. I mean, you're new to our showcast, but when that Baywatch movie came out, I said point blank, if I see this movie and Priyanka Chopra is not in a bathing suit, I'm burning the theater down. You know, and she was not in the bikini.
Right. And Ralph had to be escorted out so he didn't commit arson.
I was like, because that's bull. It's bull. You know, I want to see Priyanka Chopra body. I know. Look, and Priyanka, if you're watching, listen. I know that you're married. I understand you're married. However, I'm still a guy. I can admire beauty from a distance. Brother. I can admire perfection from a distance. You're gorgeous.
Yeah.
No disrespect to your husband. And not trying to act like the male, but sometimes look, like I said before, even every once a year, Sports Illustrated has a swimsuit issue come out.
Yeah.
So if we do this once a year, it's okay. We're not going to fixate on her physicality because it's very appealing. But we are talking about.
That's why we quite honestly, Cass. That's why we made criterias up because we could have. It just could have been a whole meat factory. Like,
I'm impressed. Like, I really like the list you guys have. It really has like a lot of depth. You know, you guys thought about this.
I appreciate that.
Well, yeah, I definitely like. I want to share it.
It's a great.
And I'm going to say this also, and because this was the female population would ask me after we started talking about it, say, Ralph, what about us? Are you going to do one like this of the guys? And I started thinking about that. And ladies, I honestly, no shade, I honestly don't know how to do that one.
Right. Because now here's the deal. I'm gonna jump in on that. Because of the criteria that we created, it's possible. However, the one part of the criteria that does include, hey, this was one of the most admired characters because they're good looking. I mean, honestly, sometimes my interpretation of a good looking dude is not a female's interpretation.
Exactly.
Of a good looking dude.
But
I mean, he's a good looking dude, you know what I'm saying? But I've said that before. You know, I have no problem saying that. But I've said that before, and literally I've had women say like, "Ew, what?" You know, and I'm like, "Look, I'm not judging him because I'm
want to get with him or something, but I'm just
send them my way. I'll put them in a race."
There you go. See, if we had a female, a very nice woman could do that because I mean, realistically speaking, and no shade, whatever. I could probably come up with maybe 20 guys who I could sit there and say, yeah, but
they had an impact,
right?
You know.
But we're talking 64, so right. I can't sit there now. I could not come up with 6. Like, look, one of the people on our list.
I think you should change the dynamic for men because I mean I think that's why you have a women category right now because you know it's apparent that women were in the background at some point and now we're forefront. But for men, I think it'd be okay to kind of focus on the looks. Hottest men of the 2000s, you know, hottest men of the 1990s. Like,
Right. Just
I think
just
that
do
might
less
be,
eras, right? Do less.
instead of
Don't do a
like,
whole big 5
yeah,
decades. Focus
yeah.
on maybe 1 decade or
Exactly.
whatever.
Yeah,
I
like lower it to
certainly
like,
wouldn't put Gilligan, you know, on that list of one of the hottest. I wouldn't put Gilligan on that list, you know.
Right.
Now, like,
But I would put the $6 Million Man, Steve Austin character, you know,
he probably
who
would
was
go in there.
who with the Bionic Man, you know, Lee Majors was. I mean, let's face it, Lee Majors, he was that dude. He was married to one of the hottest women in Hollywood, which was Farrah Fawcett. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's like,
they were the hot couple of that time. You know what I mean? So, and you know, plus he made a impact. He had two big shows, the $6 Million Man and the Fall Guy. You know, so I would put Lee Majors on that list. You know what I mean? Hell, as much as I don't want to do it, we'd probably have to put my man from Baywatch on there. We'd have to put
David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff. He had Knight Rider and he had Baywatch. Right?
Yeah,
Is that fair?
I think if you're doing guys, his nickname the Hoff, you got to put the Hoff on there.
That's pop culture.
He just got to go on there.
That's part of the criteria. He had an impact on pop culture, and I mean, let's face it. I know, like I said, I watch these shows, and hey, man, I pay attention to what's going on. So it's easy to pinpoint certain people that you know was considered like the hot guy or whatever you want to call him. Idris Elba. Even if you think about for television, oh my God,
like Luke Mark Harmon. Luke Perry,
rest in peace, right? You know, someone like him. Who else? Probably. Who else could we say? Help us out here, Kass.
Well,
like George Clooney. I mean, I know he's
George Clooney. There you go.
There you go.
Right. George Clooney.
You ask any woman, like at 30s and above, like that's you know.
Yeah.
The guy who plays the 007 movies.
McDreamy on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. McDreamy on Grey's Anatomy, and then you had Jesse Williams was on there too, right?
Right.
You know, like people like that. So it's kind of easy, but at the same time, we need not
takes
want.
A lot.
That would take a lot.
We need a female input to truly fairly create the list.
To be fair.
To be fair.
Right. To really be fair. Do you think I can do it? I'm curious if the audience thinks I can do that.
Yeah.
I think you can do it. I think
if you guys think, chime in on the chat room. If you think that Kass can come in and help us create a list to be fair to the women out there and do a hottest male television character list, which, you know, obviously if we really break it down and do the research and, you know, have the female input on there, it should be fairly easy to put it together because, you know,
but I think from the feet, like, it's very easy for me to do it from the male perspective looking at women, but the male perspective looking at guys, it's a little like, I don't know.
Right. It's not really my thing. It has nothing to do with nothing else. It's just the fact that, I mean, I don't particularly judge men. So like I said, I can look at a guy and say, oh yeah, he's a good looking dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I can say that and see that, but you know, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, he's hot.
He's smoking.
He's smoking. But I'm not gonna be able to say that. But I can say his character was, you know, made a big impact on, you know, like we just said, Hoff, you know, Hasselhoff, we said you know, Lee Majors.
Right, him certainly.
You know, those guys.
And another thing, Joseph. We are around. I'm making this around Halloween because we're going to do, because you can't do this without Kev. We're going to do a top 10 list of our favorite horror movies. It's a little too early in September.
A little too early, Joseph.
To be doing this right now.
Dropping top 10 of horror films in the chat room.
It's way too
First
early.
of all, we cannot do this without Kevin. Kevin is our horror guy. And now
Kevin will haunt
we got to bring Kass on for that because that's her favorite genre. She just said, so
Right.
we're gonna bring
And
her in on that.
I don't want to see the ghost of Kevin walking through my house saying, "How'd you do this?" and I wasn't on the show. So let's hold back. Let's hold back for that one until October.
Right. October, we're gonna talk all horror stuff because we got Halloween coming out. And just it's a great because of
How
Halloween.
many times are they gonna kill Micah Myers?
Oh my goodness!
Supposedly this is supposed to be the last time. Somebody, it's either him or Lori. Him or Lori got to go.
Somebody gotta die.
Real quick, we'll touch on that. Remember, it's not necessarily the last time we'll see Michael Myers in a movie, but this is the last time that Blumhouse is doing. They only signed on to do a trilogy. They signed on to do 3 films and 3 films only. Now, if someone else, which I'm sure they will, God help us, want to go and pick up the property and make movies, make a Halloween movie. Once again, I talked about Hollywood, how they are. Hollywood is like, hey, a horror film. They're cheap to make. They're cheap to make, and they make money. People, even bad horror films make money. Because people just go and watch it because they just want to get a scare or whatever. Even bad horror films don't really do bad, based on what they spent to make it. So you're like, oh, and it's like literally the budgets they spend on those are like write-offs to the studio. And we'll drop 20 million on this film, but the film made 80 million at the box office, or it made 80 million overall. So they made a nice little profit. It's a write-off anyway, so they're not losing money. It's all profit.
Exactly.
Even if it makes 50 million, that's a $30 million profit.
Exactly. But like I said,
actually a $50 million profit because they write off the 20 million they used to make it.
And all you gotta do is make a halfway decent horror movie, put it out in October, and simply because it's a horror movie, people say, "Ooh, it's Halloween. Let's at least go check it out because I want to scare." A couple of months later, it's on DVD, Blu-ray, or streaming service. You're gonna make some more money on that end. So it's all a win-win. Yeah, you do have the occasional horror movie like It, which I'm surprised wasn't on your list. That does make a crap ton of money. Yeah, The Conjuring. Yeah, because they were good, But man, like Wes said, at times, like some of the horror movies that we really like aren't even good, but they're good to us. We liked it because it's like, look, you have on your list. One of my favorite horror movies is this small little horror movie called Near Dark. It's a vampire movie. It came out in '87. A lot of people didn't see it, but I love it. Right? It's creepy and it just put a different spin on it. It's got half the cast from Alien in it. It's got 3 people from Alien in it. It's an awesome flick, but a lot of people never saw it. But I love it. I would put that certainly on my personal top 10 of horror movies, beyond The Nightmare on Elm Street or the Phantasm. The Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead.
2. But like I said, it's too early for that one. It's too early for that. October.
Right, since you just said that, the last thing I'll harp on the horror film, because we do go over trending topics. In the trending topics, there is a classic horror film trending. And if I can share the screen here, here's a first look at the female Pinhead.
Yeah, Hellraiser.
Yeah, that was so trippy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Wow.
So for those of you youngins out there, we love you. If you listen to the show, keep listening. So just explain to you, if you don't know who this person is, this character. Pinhead from the classic horror series Hellraiser that originally was done in the 80s, based on Clive Barker, the filmmaker and writer. Clive Barker created this world of Hellraiser, where you had 3 people who were kind of like the acolyte. They would call it
the acolytes. Yeah,
acolytes.
The acolytes.
Call it acolytes. So it's basically about someone was like this puzzle box. It was kind of like opens the door to hell. So like people who would find this box, people who were just like
Play with it.
People. Play with the box. The box would do its own thing. Next, you know, you open the gates of hell. These acolytes would come, and now at this point, if you open, this is the messed up part about it. Once you open the box, like there's no turning back. They're here to take you to hell, right?
Yeah.
So, in the original storyline, I don't know how they're gonna do it because the filmmaker said this is not a sequel. It's not a remake. He said this is not a reboot. It's a remake, but it's not a reboot. That's why they have a female Pinhead. So originally, the original storyline is you had one guy who played with the box, got taken to hell, but then he escaped hell. He was able to find a way to escape hell, and then when he escaped, he he found his way back and kind of like did all types of turmoil, whatever. Then there was another young lady who played with the box. It was his niece, and
Kirsty.
They came to get her, and she made a bargain with them.
She beat him.
Yeah, she said, don't take me. I know someone who escaped you. And they're like, what? That's impossible. Nobody escapes us. She's like, yeah, he did. And if you don't take me, you can take him back. So it was just like, okay. So it was a great film. Great film.
It really was,
Awesome
man.
Effects. Awesome practical special effects back then. And very awesome. Nice. You know, if you like that type of thing, horror, blood, go. It was the one to watch. So
yeah.
Now here's the remake or whatever you want to call it. It's not a reboot, they said. It's I guess it's a re-imaging. That's what they want it to be looked at. Not a remake.
Yeah. I'm saying just off that image, I'm curious to see it because I love the first two Hellraisers. I love the third one was okay. After that one, it just went way left, and I was like, no,
crazy, yeah,
no. But the first two, especially the first time you see Pinhead, you're like, holy crap! I mean, he was just
your soul apart.
That even looks like, yeah. It was just like, holy crap! Who is this guy? And he's shooting beams out of his eyeballs. It's like, oh,
but
it's something about those disturbing, like,
it looks very disturbing.
Images. Yeah, like you guys see the movie Silent Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that movie was disturbing. Like that movie got me. Like I cannot watch that.
And that game, I used to play that game.
Yeah, the game. I can't play it. Like I literally cannot play it.
I don't play it in the dark. I play that game. I be playing it. I did not play that game in the dark. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not.
But that's what makes these like this type of horror movie in the genre successful because they show us images that we wouldn't otherwise think of. When we start seeing dark shadows in corners and places we're not supposed to, that kind of plays tricks on our minds. I think we gravitate towards that, kind of become a little addicted to it, like we do other things. Like okay, like yeah, that was scared, but let's do it again.
Yeah.
That's why I'll watch the movie again, but yeah, it's sort of trippy.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like about Paranormal Activity. Like I like the Paranormal Activity. Yeah. The first two I like because it's not bloody. It's like you said. You roll over and you hear something. And you look up, it's like what's somebody there? Who's there? And it's really someone standing there like waiting on your ass. You just can't see. Yeah. And next thing you know, they're snatching you through a door, and the door goes cold. You're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, and it's those loud thuds. You hear something drop on the ceiling. Like, well, no one's up there. Those kind of scenes are what gets me kind of like, okay, like that was good. Like, I don't want to get off my bed now.
Yeah. That's when you pull the cover. You pull the covers up over your head, like, oh my god. Oh my god.
I could talk horror movies every day of my life.
Oh yeah, you like them horror movies.
I do.
Also on the trending topic, so Beverly Hills Cop, what is this? 4 is finally being filmed. It started filming production. And as we can see here, this is share the screen here. Beverly Hills. I don't know. This is I don't know what type of picture this is. An old picture, whatever. But
Is it
Beverly
even
Hills Cop. This
necessary?
is an old picture of it. Yeah. But Beverly Hills Cop 4 has started filming. Eddie Murphy. Now, this is something that has been in the works for quite a few years now. When Eddie Murphy had struck a deal with Netflix when he did Dolomite is My Name, which was, you know, a homage, not a homage, but it was a homage to Rudy Ray Moore and Dolomite, old school 70s character. This was, kind of about his life. But he did strike a deal with Netflix where he's going to do. So then he did coming to America. Uh, did that. So Eddie's like kind of just coming back around now and kind of like just maybe taking care of unfinished business type of deal. But the one thing I am curious about, will we? He's always talked about doing another Beverly Hills Cop, doing another Coming to America. He did that. But the one thing that every Eddie Murphy fan is waiting for, will he do? Because he did mention it. Will he do another stand-up comedy special? He's been talking about it. Netflix now is big on that. They've been giving a lot of people, money to do their stand-ups. Now Eddie Murphy's answer has been the same for the last 10 years that people have been asking him. He said, "I do want to do another stand-up. However, I need to what in their business where they call work out. I need to go to the comedy clubs. I need to go, So now remember, COVID and all that kind of threw a monkey wrench in that plan because this was pre-COVID when they were talking about getting that deal, right? So the COVID and the pandemic kind of threw a monkey wrench in that plan because he literally wanted to go through the small comedy clubs so he could work out his material. You know, that's what a comedian does before they do a comedy special or before they go on tour. They do that what they call their workout. They go and try some jokes out, see what works, see what doesn't work, see what's like, what they can improve. Get that. I mean, which I always thought, by the way, is the best way to do anything. You know what I mean? So you want to know? Listen, I want to know if I'm funny. If you want to know if you're funny, go to a comedy club, take that stage, and do your comedy set.
Get up there.
You'll know, because trust me, people are never more pure and never more honest than when they want to laugh. They want to be entertained with a laugh. So if you pay your money and you go to a comedy show, even if you don't pay your money, and you go to a comedy special, a comedy show, and that comedian is on stage and he's just not hitting the mark and he's kind of corny, they'll let you know. you know, it's one of the worst things.
I didn't think I saw Mike Epps live. I didn't think he was funny.
No,
I hate to say it, but this is right around Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is right around next Friday when it came out. I saw Mike Epps at Caroline's in New York City, and I didn't think he didn't get funny until someone called him Day Day. Then he got funny for about 5 minutes, but no. But now I saw D.L. Hughley, and he had us rolling for almost 2 full hours. Right.
He's great to see live because I don't know if he still does that. He used to pick on the crowd. Now I don't think he does it anymore because people of today are so sensitive about everything. And D.L. Hughley, part of his set was working the crowd. He would come out and literally start snapping on you in the crowd. But that was part of what he did, right? He'd come out and be like, But as he is a smart man, so as the eras change and people, you say something about a overweight person and they'll be saying you're fat shaming, and even though it's a joke, he's just making a joke. He's not making you the butt of the joke because you are overweight. It's a joke. It could be anybody, right? So, but people were always fat shaming, cancel him, So, um,
But
that's
I
that. So
but I
yeah,
saw him. He was hilarious. I'm not even gonna talk about Dice Man. I seen Dice Man. Dice Man just
yeah. Andrew Dice Clay's
destroyed.
always been funny.
People were literally falling out their seats when this guy was on stage. That's
And
how
another one,
funny Andrew
he's
Dice
a
Clay
guy right
was.
now that would be, and it's a good topic, really a quick segue for that. Is Eddie Murphy also considering the times we're in now, as opposed to the times we were in when he did comedy specials? Is it too much trouble to do it now? You know what I mean? What do you think about that, Cass? Do you think that could be something that's weighing on his mind? Like, you know what?
Yeah.
I did comedy shows in the 80s and 90s. We could say things back then that we cannot say now without, because of social media.
Well, I'm gonna say first thing is, Eddie Murphy is one of those professionals that like was never in the spotlight with anything negative, right? Like like he never got in trouble. Like I mean, not anything that like is
Yeah.
apparent for me that I know
Right.
up front. So yeah, it would make sense that in his mind he's thinking, okay, maybe it's just not the right time to do these projects. And yeah, like looking at
I
how the
can see
world has
that.
changed, like yeah, I mean. I would kind of expect somebody like Eddie Murphy to make that decision to say, you know what, if he's saying, yeah, I need more time to kind of like practice, essentially, maybe that's because he's feeling that, maybe my old material is not going to work now, so let me go and
Yeah.
see
Oh, he's
what my,
definitely. I agree. He's definitely gonna have to write new material. But like
He got to
for
update himself.
comedians though, and it's funny that you mentioned that, Cass, about his life. Like he hasn't been really in the negative spotlight. Everybody has this rumors, this, that, and the other. But other than Eddie Murphy just having a bunch of kids, he ain't really never been. He really just stays home, and he's
right.
always been that type of guy.
Yep.
Even when he was at the peak of his career, people would go to his house for parties and stuff. He was kind of like Prince. I think he learned that from Prince, because Prince was like that too. Prince was like, well, Michael was like that as well, but Michael was like that because Michael could not go anywhere. Like Michael would step outside and he wouldn't make it to the car. So, but Prince was like that too. He like, I want to keep everything here. You come over, because all the time, we going over to Prince's house for a party, a listening party, or whatever. And you're like, what? So Eddie was like that too. Almost everybody I dealt with in the industry, I dealt with a lot of models and actors and stuff like that. And they're always like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this party. Eddie Murphy, like, he had a house in Jersey, and he was like, we go to this party over at Eddie Murphy's
Bubble
house.
Hill. I know exactly
Yeah.
where it is. Bubble Hill.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm like, everybody going to Eddie Murphy house. I want to go to Eddie Murphy's house.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Nice
so
house. It's a really nice house.
It's good that you mentioned that, because a comedian's greatest weapon is their own life and experiences. Like if something happens to them, for instance, Cat Williams, there was that whole time thing with him when he got like beat up by the kid on social media. That went viral. He had those tussle with the young kid, and a lot of people say that the kid, put him down. He talked about it. That's one of the first things he addressed. Because that's
so
funny.
Eddie's sitting at home, he doesn't have material right now,
Right.
So he just got to get out a little bit.
And think about it. But the thing is, Eddie Murphy too. Eddie Murphy Delirious, Eddie Murphy Raw. He talked about his home experiences, right? He talked about, he had all these different skits that was based around his family. So Eddie Murphy was a comedian that opened his life up to you, because he was very mysterious, dude. You didn't really know nothing about him. So he opened up his life to you. But now he's done that already. So now what is there to talk about? All great comedians did it. Eddie Murphy did it. Bill Cosby did it. Richard Pryor did it. Richard Pryor, when he caught on fire and all that other stuff, and that incident happened him years ago, that's the first thing he joked about. You know what I mean? He talked about it, he joked about it. And at the same time, a good comedian brings it all full circle, even may bring a message to you or whatever it is with them. Richard Pryor kind of brought it all full circle. Like, hey, that was messed up. I shouldn't have been doing them drugs like that type of deal. Same deal, but he just made it funny. Eddie Murphy talked about family members. Like, so I think I agree with you from the jump. I sadly, I don't think we'll ever get an Eddie Murphy stand-up comedy again.
That's what
I
it
think
sounded
Eddie.
like. It just doesn't seem like it's gonna happen.
I don't think Eddie thinks it's worth it. It's
No.
like, I say, look what they tried to do to Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Oh man,
it's
when
like,
I was watching all those interviews and people talking like that cancel culture thing, like I didn't really understand what that meant. Cancel culture. Oh, he's canceled. He's canceled. And then it happened to Dave Chappelle, and I was like, oh, I mean, like I grew up with him, and he's funny. He's like one of the main guys we would look for material ourselves, and
right.
yeah, I couldn't believe that.
I think thankfully, Dave's fan base, such as people like ourselves, was strong enough to withstand the cancel culture thing.
Right.
Because
I felt that too. Yeah, it was like about like a shift, like oh, he's going. No, you're good. Like we all caught him in the crowd.
Bring him back.
Yeah.
Because it was stupid. Like that's
yeah,
stupid.
It was a lot.
They want to take that cancel culture and use it for it's
Apply
just
it to
like
everything.
when you say apply it to everything. Yeah, it's like come on, man, use your powers for good.
Yeah.
It's like if first of all the great thing about anything when a audience or fans are involved, a good thing is showing fan empowerment, right? Empowering the fans because they're the ones that buy you. They're the ones that feed you, basically, because they're your, But when you abuse that power and say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna cancel this guy because he said something I don't like," that doesn't make sense, especially when you're a comedian. We've had this talk on the show before. Well, matter of fact, one of our biggest shows when we talked about Dave Chappelle not being canceled, and he actually did another show after, like he did a surprise show that we played because it was off of his like his Twitter or something, and that was one of the biggest, one of our biggest shows. He's like, "Yo, you can't cancel me, man." You know what I'm saying? And that's the truth. This guy is too good at what he does. He's a master of his craft. And so I don't think we're going to ever see another Eddie Murphy stand up. And because Eddie's not gonna, he's that type of guy. If he can't go hard, he'll go home. You know what I mean? That's what he is. Just go hard or go home.
But me, I think you will. I think he would have to touch on certainly his marriage, his divorce, his marriage, divorce, and his kids. Those three things he would certainly have to touch on, and probably talk about this idea of cancel culture because he was very out for it. He said like he feels he has to say sorry for a lot of things he said in Delirious and Raw. Which Eddie, no, you don't. You don't have to say because that's what the time was. And you just made jokes about what was going on.
They're jokes, but what?
If you want to go, certainly today, I mean, let's be real. In another year or two, you're gonna have almost every comedian talking about Donald Trump, the pandemic, hell, rising gas prices is going to be you have so much stuff today. Social media, you have so much stuff that you could use for material today. So I think we are going to get another Eddie Murphy stand-up. However, I think that it's not going to be as raw or Delirious. I think it's going to be more calm. Not maybe not so much language, just calm. Because Eddie Murphy. Look, when Eddie Murphy was on, he did his appearance on Live, right? He could have threw Bill Cosby under the bus. He was getting ready to do it, and he didn't do it. He pulled back.
He didn't do it. He pulled back.
So I think,
and matter of fact, they had wrote
and
a
he should,
skit
and
for him.
He should have.
They wrote a skit for him.
He should have did it
and he didn't do it. They wrote a skit for him to go. I think Kenan Thompson ended up doing, who actually, ironically, is hosting the Emmy Awards, the Primetime Emmy Awards this year. Which I do have a list of some of the nominees, and since we didn't really, I don't know if we may have did a show when it first came out months ago, but we'll kind of tail off the show by running down that list and, you know, make some early predictions of who we think should win or deserves to win. But before we do that, we're still in the trending topics. I wanna jump to this now. Okay. Cass, do you know who these people are?
Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, Milli Vanilli.
I saw this the other day.
So now, Milli Vanilli.
I saw this the other day, and I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good casting. These are the actors. That's not Milli
Yeah, the
Vanilli.
actors. No, right.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean, it's supposed to be Milli Vanilli, but that's the actors that's cast to play them. Pretty good casting. They kind of look like them. They do.
Yeah.
It's not just because they got the dreads or the braids. The I call them the breads. The braid dreads. They pretty good. So now this film is going down. I don't know what network it's coming on. Please don't tell me it's Lifetime. It's not Lifetime, is it?
I thought this was like theatrical. But I thought this was a theatrical film.
It's a theatrical film?
They're gonna
Okay,
put
that's good.
That's what I thought. I read it was a theatrical film because I'm sorry. This could get my 1050 to see this movie because I remember Milli Vanilli and the downfall they went through. I mean,
you want to hear something funny?
You can't even.
Yeah, you want to hear something funny?
What?
Milli Vanilli and I don't know if they both passed away, but one of them did pass away. The one that, like, this guy, you know, his character, he suicide. Yeah, he killed himself. I'm not sure if the other one passed away, but they turned in their graves because what they got condemned for is TikTok. Everybody does that every day on TikTok.
Oh my God! Tell me why I thought the same thing. Like, I mean, literally, we are making people famous for basically using other people's material, and as if it's like, no, like that is pure talent. And I'm thinking,
That's crazy, right?
you know, how do we find actual true talent now? We got all these people in the forefront, you know.
It's called American Idol.
It's funny.
American Idol.
Funny, Cass, you just gave me an idea for another show.
Oh yeah.
And I have to bring you back on it. It would be interesting to get a couple of TikTokers on the show and really talk about, you know, at one point, like the benefit and the advantage and the disadvantages of social media influencers, stuff like that. Because some of them have been, like you just said, discovered on TikTok and actually given opportunities to be in films and stuff like that. You know, like, is TikTok the new, like, is that's what everyone like, if it was music, is that the new A&R for music? Like, you just jump on and see who's trending, who has the most followers and whatever, and yeah, let's get this person. I mean, let's be honest. The girl from Cash Me Outside or whatever
Right.
she said,
Yeah.
she's a signed artist.
Yeah.
She's a signed recording artist.
And I ain't never heard one thing she did. Not one.
It doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter.
The fact that she no one else heard it either. Meaning, like, even the label that signed her probably didn't even hear but because she was trending and she did it, and they signed her. And the way we should have talked a few weeks ago. We talked about how television child stars got exploited. We talked about how particularly female youth was exploited a lot as young children, because that was when Janet McCurdy put out her book, right? It's called I'm Happy My Mother Died, I'm Glad My Mother Died, something like that, which basically talked about her time in the industry. So we had a whole show talking about that, which became a very popular show. Yeah, I can see, but look what they're doing with this girl. I think her name is, they call her like Bad Baby or something like that. I don't know.
Bad Barbie.
Baby.
Bad Barbie.
No, it's not Barbie. It's Baby. But it's spelled with an H. It's like Baby or something like that. Yeah. Okay. the way they exploit this girl, it is ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. Bad, but thank you. Yes, bad. Okay, it's bad with an H, baby.
Bad
Baby.
baby.
I don't know. I don't remember about it. All I know is catch me outside. How
Catch
about
me
that?
outside. Jerry
Right.
Springer. You catch me outside. I mean,
No,
Dr.
not
Phil. You
Springer.
catch me
Was
outside.
that Springer? That was
That was Dr.
no, that was
Phil. No,
Dr.
it was
Phil.
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil. Cash me outside. Everybody was saying cash me outside because that's what she sounded like she was saying. Cash me outside. How about that? And her disrespecting her mother, something like that. That's all I remember her from. Now she's a signed recording artist worth millions of dollars. And she's on her OnlyFans probably. And he says fans only. I think she does
I
have
wouldn't doubt it.
OnlyFans. But yeah, they're exploiting the hell out of her, and you know she was a teenager when she got stuff. She was only like I don't know, she was
like 15,
underage.
15,
Yeah,
16?
she was underage, and they've been exploiting her from day one, and it's just like, oh, really?
Yeah,
I
she tried
tell
to
you,
go
man.
back and tried to say, like, I guess, because she got sent up to, like, some North campground or whatever, like a rehabilitation, like, rehab center kind of thing for teenagers that Dr. Phil sent her to. And so she tried to go on and say, oh, they did this and that to me and this and that. Like, not realizing
she did
the whole
say
point
that.
you went through that is because of what you were doing. Like, that was the program and your mother signed papers. Like, that,
Yeah,
you know,
it was crazy. So
but,
I mean, that's proof. That alone is proof that you know, that would be a good. We don't do reality television, but that's a good topic
Yeah, no, that's a good topic. Yeah.
to talk about. How I mean, think about it. Cardi B basically became a superstar, and she started on social media and then reality television. That's how she started, right? So there's literal people that you could take, and then I forget what this young lady's name is, but she's known on TikTok, and all she really used to do, from what I saw, the clips of her, like she'd be on talking and doing her makeup, and she'd be doing like little dances or whatever, and the next thing I know, she's in a movie. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it might be good to talk about that because that type of stuff I think should be unpacked. You know, is that really like we already know that it's becoming like my brother and I, shout out to Heaven Hollywood, we say a lot that the influencer is the new A-lister.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because now these influencers are getting in the same areas and zones and spaces as A-listers, you know, A-list celebrities, as they would be saying, you know. And these are you know, podcasters, and podcasters are the new broadcasters. There's people that's went to school for this for years and and trained for it and went through, you know, and went through the trials and just so it's a balance. We have to see what the balance is because it's a great thing because it gives opportunity to people that may not have had that opportunity because maybe they couldn't afford to go to college. Maybe they don't know nobody in the broadcast industry, but they actually are a good broadcaster. So it gives opportunity to people. But at the same time, you can't. I remember watching one year or listening one year to the Super Bowl coverage by WFAN in New York. And one of the hey Doris, thanks for joining us.
Hey Doris.
Doris, say hi to our guest host, Kass Hill.
Hi.
We you know, I remember one of the guys saying, wow, we're at Super Bowl coverage, you know, for the media week at Super Bowl, or right before the Super Bowl happens. They have a whole week of media. And he's like, it's really, he saw when the times were starting to change. He's like, I see these guys that's just sitting there with just a computer in front of them. They're young kids, and they're interviewing the same guys that we're interviewing. You know, they're interviewing Tom Brady, and they're interviewing these people, and these are guys that you may never heard of. You know, So very interesting topic, Cass. I think you gave me that idea now to do something like that because these TikTokers and social media influencers, which is cool. They came with it. Like I said, I'm on the fence with it. I think as a creative myself, I think it's great to have empowerment of the creator, right? Because the creator has been getting screwed over for the beginning of time,
Ever.
right? Forever, right? Ever. So here you have a balance where the creator now has more control over their destiny, right? And their intellectual property, stuff like that. Things that would normally get snatched up by a studio or a record label or whatever side of the business that you are. That's the great part about social media. The bad part about it, in my opinion, is the fact that it lets anybody in. You know, so I don't like dealing with Hollywood, where Hollywood is like a country club, right? Like if you're not known, if they don't know you, and if they don't like you, they're not letting you in that country club, right? You have to come in as a plus one with somebody, so you have to know what you have to know someone that knows someone, and then hopefully that someone that they know might know you. So, or get to know you. And then you can actually come back to the country club by yourself. You don't need that guy or gal with you anymore. So that's Hollywood. And I think that is just ridiculous. I think that's crazy. And then you have social media wood in the internet, which it's like no holds barred. Anybody and everybody can come through the door, speak their mind, speak their opinion. May not have any research, no training, no, like their stuff is based strictly on how they feel.
Right. And that's what I wanted to touch on myself was the standard. Right. There is no standard of this is what you should at least at minimum have in order to reach such a wide audience, to even be calibrated in the fact to possibly be considered to go to somewhere as great as Hollywood.
I agree.
Yeah, and especially like for the younger generation, and there's nobody monitoring anything, so anything can be said, anything can be done, and then you have the younger kids who are watching, not understanding that it might be cool to do your makeup and talk about this and talk about that and dance, but what are you doing as an individual that is going to benefit the society? Like we are forgetting that our generation that is about to come into their adult years just spent their last 10 years worrying about what people thought about them and matching and doing what's trending, instead of like actually building like a world view. And that's where I'm kind of turned off about the whole social media thing. I think it's great. People are getting picked up and getting their contracts and going into the movies, this and that. But there's kind of like a problem here right now, and I hope that more people see it.
No, I agree with you. It definitely should be a balance, and it definitely should be more of a criteria, more of something, a standard.
Just like just something that's out there, like, this person doesn't talk about anything that's actually relevant. Like, let's not make them famous. Like let's at least just as a collective, and that's something that the generation will have to do on their own. But
they have to figure it out. They got to figure it out on their own. Right now, like we said before, the line is so blurred between infamous and famous, and now it's okay because if you do something stupid, what we consider stupid, you can actually become famous. You become famous or infamous.
I'll be damned.
Huh?
I will be damned. Like I will never.
You gotta definitely come in for that show. Now, in the chat room, Doris says, "I think social media has provided great opportunities for content creators, but there is definitely a dark side." Yes, that Doris says exactly what I was just saying. It has created, myself included, it has created opportunities for talented people that just may not have gotten that opportunity ever before because, like I said, because the little country club mentality that Hollywood holds. A guy like me, I happen to have a Hollywood manager. I just signed with him. You know what I mean? Like he's a Hollywood manager and agent. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do the whole dog and pony show and go out there and meet people and get to know people, and hopefully they may want me in their country club, right? And I can get some studio gigs, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, just like Doris pointed out, yeah, there's a dark side, but I'll even add to that, Doris. It's not just there's a dark side, it's the fact that some of these people, and this is purely my opinion, I'm sorry, some of these people do not belong on broadcast. They don't belong, and that's purely my opinion, but they proved me right a lot because you got people who, and just recently, you got with Cardi B when she had the defamation case against what was her name, Tasha K or whatever, and you got people who would literally just lying and saying what they felt personally about a person, and Cardi B had time at that moment and decided, you know what, I'm gonna sue this person. You know, every celebrity I said this before, I give advice to every celebrity. If you're ever watching this show, take a little money and squirrel away. We're going to call that the I Got Time Fund, where, you know what, all these this garbage that people are talking, I got time today. We going to take this to the point.
I got it today.
I got time today. Because
you didn't caught me on the right. You didn't caught me on the right day. You didn't caught me on the right day.
Today I got time, and that's what a lot of these people don't have time to deal with this stuff. So, and a lot of the influencers or the people that's talking on them, commenting on them, they know that. Even if they have a huge following, they know that. Even if you have a million people following you, you think like, you know what? They're not gonna see this, you know what I'm saying? Or they're not gonna care. Or they're too busy.
They're not gonna know.
But you're gonna run into a Cardi B who says, "I got time.
I got time today.
I got time today." And then she takes that money from her "I got time" fund, pays her lawyers, and there you go. Boom. You think Cardi B need that whatever $1 million that Tasha K is ordered to pay her? No, she doesn't need it. She probably will never get it.
It's just the point. It's just the point.
It's the point. You know. So he said, and I got the coin. Yeah, right. Yep. She got the time and she got the coin.
I got the coin.
That's what I said. But see, that's what I'm saying. I mentioned earlier. Put the coin away, squirrel away a little bit of money just call it the I Got Time Fund. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going, you know, if I ever get into a position where some social media jerk decides they want to say some nonsense about me, I'm going to dig into my I Got Time Fund and I'm going to take that person to court and sue them. Once you know, you got it. So this is what they say. That's what I'm talking about in the international slander and lies. Yes, exactly. That's the dark side you talked about. And she also said I have had haters slander me on social media. It happens all the time. It's happened to me. It happens to my brother who is kind of like
happened to me
himself. It happens to my brother a lot. You know, he's an influencer, and if he does something about a certain person, a certain group of people might be and take offense to it. I know a lot of actors, you know, friend to the show, Robert Christopher Riley. He's an actor. He was currently on the show Dynasty, and good friend of mine. Same deal. It's like this. People now ridicule you for not sharing your personal life with the world. So, for instance, give you an example. Typical any celebrity, if they're mysterious and they want to keep their personal life say they don't want to talk about their home life, who's their girlfriend, and they keep it mysterious.
What you
So
trying to
if I'm
hide? What you
right,
trying to hide?
so what you trying to hide? So now, if you can't find nothing about that particular person, oh, he must be gay. You know what I mean? Because now you start making stuff up. I never see him with a girl. It's just like if we use Ralph as an example. Ralph is on here. You see him on the show. Let's see people follow the show. And they see Ralph. Ralph doesn't talk about if he has a girlfriend or not. He's here. You see him on the show. Whatever. I mean, you can't really use it. You always see him with women in pictures, but let's say that didn't happen. You didn't see. Let's say he kept all those private pictures. That would be the thing. Oh, that guy Ralph, he must be gay because we never see him with women, or we don't know who he's dating. So he must be gay. I even use that as Kev is joining us. I'll even welcome back Kev. I'll use Kev as an example. Kev uses an avatar. This is how social media would look at Kev. Well, this Kevin guy on the show Real Talk, he only uses an avatar.
What's he trying to hide?
Was he ugly? Was he that good looking?
What's he trying
What's
to
he
hide?
hiding? Like this is.
He got a
this is
mole
how-
on his
this is their
face.
train of
You know,
thought. You're right.
he got a
This is how
birth
they
defect.
or like I said, regardless, if they don't know much about you, then they make things up about you. So that I don't see this person with women. I don't see this person. He doesn't talk about if he has a girlfriend. We never see him. He goes to red carpets by himself. Every time we see him, he's in pictures with guys. He must be gay. You know what I'm saying? So that's the result and the reality of like Doris says here, they make stuff up. That's the reality of social media, and that's where it's toxic. That's where it becomes toxic. Like I said, I love the fact that it gives opportunity to truly talented people that are talented and may even deserve a shot at that country club that we talked about in Hollywood, but because they don't know them, they don't let them in. They might need that shot. So social media really gives you that opportunity, but it also gives opportunity to the a-hole who really just wants to stir up shit. You know what I'm saying?
And the downside to it is that social media really is only magnifying by 1,000% what is already what's always been lurking in the background before the internet. It was just a creepy slow crawl, but now it's like instantaneous. And then you got the people that just don't, the people that just don't have a life.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And I know, Kaz, you gotta sign off. But Kev, this is our guest host, Cass.
How you doing, Cass?
And Kev is our registered horror guy. He's a horror guy, and Cass is that's her favorite genre. So we're gonna bring her back.
Oh, nice.
Maybe in October when we start talking all horror stuff in October, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Bring her back on and let her get have her fun. But we do we thank you for joining us. You've been a great guest, a guest host, I should say, and we definitely look forward to having you back on as soon as possible. Everybody in the chat room say good night to Cass. And thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
And we're gonna
so
get
great
we're
to
gonna
meet you,
get with
Ralph.
you on the tournament for the guys.
Okay,
I'll
let me
bring
know.
Kev up to speed on that.
I'm coming back
Okay,
to
I'm
Vegas.
ready.
I'm gonna meet up with you. I'll meet you in Vegas. We'll go
Okay,
to
come anytime, guys.
Peppermill, Peppermill Lounge, Peppermill
Okay.
Diner.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you, Wes. You guys have a great night, okay?
You too,
All right, good night.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. Kass Hill, join us. It's funny, like I said. So Kev, just to bring up the speed, I don't know if you was listening to the show before you came on, but Cass, we were breaking down our tournament to her because you know what? I like to get a female perspective of what we're doing, right? So we were breaking our tournament down to her, and she actually said that she thinks she's impressed by what we came up with and what we're doing. She was like, I think it's because we thought about it. We put thought to it. There's a criteria. It's not a meat factory, right? Where it's just like,
Right.
oh, a meat market where it's like, oh yeah, she's hot, she's hot,
Yeah.
she's hot, she wins, Um
Where
so
was she last week?
I know, right? Where was she last week? We wish would have had her on last week to talk to, whatever. But anyway, so what she did say was, then the topic came up of, well, will we ever do this tournament with the same thing for with guys, right? With men, So I said, well, honestly speaking, I have no problem saying, hey, yeah, this is a good looking guy. I said, but I'm not a judge of men like that. But I can definitely look at a person and say, yeah, he was a good looking guy. I said, but if, based on our criteria, it's possible. I said, because, we named a few people, just like in the 80s or the 70s, 80s, whatever, you can take Lee Majors. He was definitely one of the hot men in, hot meaning popular, whatever. That's when we use hot, it's not necessarily how they look per se. It's just their whole persona and everything.
Persona, yeah.
Right. Their whole persona. He was the $6 million man. He was the fall
The
guy.
hell,
He was married to one of the hottest women. That's on this list. That's one of the hottest women in television, period. He was,
and on top of all of that, he disappeared and came back.
Yeah.
Because after $6 million man, he was gone.
He's gone for a while. Then he came back, did the fall guy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was so he's an example. We talked about Hasselhoff. David Hasselhoff would be on that list. He had Knight Rider, then he turned around and had Baywatch. Women
he turned around and had a singing career.
Right, he had the singing career. So Hoff would have to be on that list. So yeah, we can make the list. But what we said with Kass was maybe you could help design the list so we can have a female perspective of the guys. Because I said my judge of a man's look, meaning whatever, is not going to be the same as a female judge of the look. So it's great.
Yeah, the only thing we can really go by is criteria. We can't really.
Yeah.
We can say, okay, this dude is handsome, but what we're doing is not really about looks. Again, it's not the meat factory.
Right, it's not a meat factory, which I don't want it to be that way, even with the guys too. But at the same time, to get a female's twist on it and perspective, so that she can say, yeah, I remember hearing about this show or watching this show, and this guy was the, like I said, first people that come to mind for me automatically for television: David Hasselhoff, Lee Majors. Then if you go into the 80s, you go to like Luke Perry.
Billy D was on TV for a little while.
Who?
Wasn't Billy D on TV for a little while?
I don't remember.
So.
I don't remember him being.
I know.
He
guest appeared on the Jeffersons.
No, I was.
You think about the commercials, probably the Colt 45.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah,
but I mean, then you go into the 80s, you think of Luke Perry, right? And we fast forward to the 90s, one of the guys from Friends or something like that. What was his name? Whatever. But I'm just saying, you the guy who played Joey. So you take that. Those are the people that come to mind right away, right?
Will Smith.
Will Smith, people like that. It comes to mind.
Shamar Moore.
Shamar Moore.
Yeah, Shamar
Moore would definitely be on that list.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, like I said, it ain't nothing for us to pick up a thing, but to really dig into it, we need a female working on this list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Story.
We really need a person.
Because that's a shame that I can only think from each decade. I can only think of one black person. That's
you say you would think of one black person
per decade.
Wow.
On Dynasty. What about on Dynasty, Doris? We just here. They need to.
Yeah, you had a bunch of dude. You had a bunch of
what's
good
his
looking
face
dudes
from
on Dynasty,
What's his
but
face from
Rob
Dynasty?
Riley's on Dynasty, the new Dynasty.
Oh,
I
oh,
think
I
she's
thought
talking
you were
about
talking
the
about the
original
old
You might be
Dynasty.
talking about the original one, yeah. Even from
Original
the
Dynasty.
'80s on the original ones, they had what was that guy's name? I forget his name.
I know exactly who you talk about. It was the guy
Yeah,
with the dark hair. He had another show
yeah. I
after that.
can't think of
Oh,
it
that's
right
Mike.
now.
That's Michael
He was
Nori.
in
I
a
only know that
comedy.
because he did.
You know what that dude
It
used
was
to be?
Michael Nori.
Michael Norris.
Is that his name? Did he used to do comedies too? He had the dark hair.
Oh, she
Oh,
said Billy D was on Dynasty. Maybe he
That's where.
was.
Yep,
he
Yeah,
was.
that's where he
yep,
was.
yep. He
Yeah,
was.
the
He was.
original Dynasty. Good job, Doris. Thanks for
I
reminding us
knew I
that.
wasn't
He
crazy.
sure did.
Really?
He wasn't on it for a long time. He might have been like a not a guest, but he was like a recurring character at one
Character.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Dex Dexter. Yeah. Um. I remember Dexter. No, that wasn't Billy Deed's character, but he was on Dynasty for a minute. I think they brought him on when Diane Carroll came on the show.
Yeah, it says he was on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Diane Carroll was
He had
on the
Well, the
recurring
show.
crazy,
roles
I knew I
in.
seen him on TV
Di-
before, but it wasn't just commercials.
Yeah. Remember when Diane Carroll joined the because she joined in what, maybe season 3 of Dynasty, and
I couldn't tell you which
I
season.
think he was like a love interest for her. Yeah, Billy D. Yep. See, thanks again, Doris. He was
Yeah.
Diane Carroll's love interest. Yep, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he
That's what I
played
thought.
Brady Lloyd. His name is
Brady
Brady
Lloyd. That was his
Lloyd.
name, Brady Lloyd. Yeah, Dexter was another character, and he was dealing with Alexis Carrington Colby Dexter. She remember she married him. Alexis Carrington Colby. No, Alexis Colby Carrington Dexter.
And that he was JR's nemesis, right?
No, JR's not Dynasty. JR's Dallas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah, all
Larry
right, so
Larry Hagman would probably be on that list.
who's
on that
Larry
list of the
Hackman?
guys. Larry Hagman is JR.
That's JR.
And before that he was on Genie. You know.
He was, but
Genie.
who was the dark-headed guy that was like his nemesis on there?
On where? On
On
where we
Dynasty,
talking?
on Dallas.
Oh yeah, that was the brother. Wasn't that the other
Well, I
brother?
know there was
Yeah,
Bobby.
his
That was his
brother.
brother.
His
Yeah,
brother.
the brother you're talking about. Yeah.
That
He
was
on
Bobby
Bobby
Ewing.
Ewing. Yep. Bobby Ewing. There you go, Doris. Doris is on point. She's like Bobby Ewing. Yep. That was the brother. Yeah. So, I mean, if to put this list
Now, see,
together, I don't
Doris
think would
used to
be
watch
that
TV.
hard.
She watches
Yeah.
TV.
She watching TV. She remembers that stuff. Like I said,
I'm gonna have to put that on the back burner for another time. It won't be next. I think after this, when we start doing this one, we'll certainly do our top 10 horror movies. But this the hottest dude of all time, I got to put that on the back burner. So ladies, I'm not gonna. We are not gonna slight you. We're not gonna slight you, but we're gonna put that back a little bit. We're gonna. We all need some female persuasion to do it properly.
Yeah, 'cause I can't even think of
Ken
none of it.
Herschel was JR's nemesis. He's the guy. Yeah.
Like I said, I can only come up with maybe 20. 30 might be pushing it. Right. I mean, of
That
course,
we gotta have a female persuasion.
Yeah, I mean,
on
you
it,
had.
you know, and
I don't even remember who the hot guy. Like, unless it was like popular, like Burt Reynolds.
Yeah,
was
well, he
considered. Well, he was the '70s, but
he's an actor. He's a movie star.
He's a
he's
movie star, so you got to yank him off.
So we can't.
But like I said, I mean, right this minute.
You would have to expand
now
that
here's the
list,
other problem.
because it's too hard to do that list just for TV. That would have to be
I don't
like.
think so. There was a lot. I mean, obviously,
No, it's not hard. But here's
were easier to do. But I mean, we can pretty much go to the same shows that these women were on. with these women's.
Right.
These women were on,
But
because you think about the Dukes of Hazzard. So you got
Oh yeah,
whichever one take your
John
pick.
Schneider.
Probably both. Yeah, John Schneider
Yeah.
was probably the one who was considered like the sex symbol of that.
But Luke.
Bo.
Yeah.
It was Bo that was the real.
Bo. Yeah, Bo. That's John Schneider, right?
Oh, okay.
And then
Yeah.
you know,
See, I think
speaking of
this
John
is the other
Snyder,
problem.
we can
A
jump
lot of the
to
guys that we probably would pick. Well, I was saying, I think the part of the problem, like a lot of guys that we would pick, what would knock them out is the thing that knocked out some of the girls. Is that like, yeah, we will put George Clooney down there, but he's really now more of a movie star than a TV star. So he'd have to get out.
Yeah.
Same thing, like you said, Will Smith.
Yeah, but
he'd have to get
Will
out.
Smith's more of a movie star, but Will Smith would kind of fall under the same thing as we did with Carrie. You know, with Kerry Washington, we kept Kerry Washington on because even though now she's a movie star, she's done movies. That show is really what defined her. And at first, in the film or TV film world, in the visual media, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air defined Will Smith. You know, he went on to become this good, great, whatever you want to call him, movie star, big blockbuster movie star. But his thing started, his career was defined by the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah. And
but
that's
wait. Now here's the debate part. But here's the debate part. Is that really true? Because Will Smith was originally a musician, and he started doing movies.
But
he started doing movies as a musician.
Yeah, he was known as a musician,
right.
but his mainstream notoriety didn't come full-fledged until he started doing TV. Now, granted, parents just don't understand, and that whole album, you know, that was like a kind of a crossover mix-up kind of album. But for the most part, his
like I said, his visual medium was defined by the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. His visual medium, that has, you know, his audio medium, which he's a record star, right, a record recording artist, but his visual medium.
Okay, but
if you poll 100 people and say, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you say the name Will Smith? I guarantee most of those 100 people are going to say, right.
They start singing that theme song. But here's the question: at this point in time, Will Smith is really far removed from the Fresh Prince. I mean, Fresh Prince is like 20 years ago.
No,
right? He's that far removed. So,
but he'll that's insane. That's like trying to say Jesus can't be a part of the Bible anymore. That just don't work.
I'm gonna ask this question. If we was to do that, and let's say I put Bruce Willis on that list, right?
He would have to stay
Willis
because his thing was he blew up from moonlighting. Moonlighting is what helped propelled him to get to where he got to. Where people thought like, oh God, it's the Moonlight guy. Right. He's not. This movie ain't gonna do well. And then boom, he blew it out the water. So before he even became a movie star, he was already a television star.
Joseph, thanks.
I agree with that one. However, like you just said with Will Smith, Fresh Prince. Mm-hmm. So when you said the first thing to Bruce Willis, most people are going to say Die Hard. They're not going to say Moonlighting. Moonlighting is so far in the back.
That's the first thing that they would probably say. Now, I get where you're going with this, Ralph, but I'm thinking, I mean, you can have that argument with the Moonlighting and whatever. I look at Bruce Willis as a movie star. Yes, I do look at Bruce because I mean, you know, even though and I'll tell you why, even though Moonlighting did get him to opportunity to become the movie star, but to me, what really, not everybody saw Moonlighting.
Die Hard just shot him over the roof.
Moonlighting was, how many seasons was even Moonlighting? 2, 3, maybe?
It was 5 seasons.
5 seasons, okay. So some people saw Moonlighting and some people didn't. You know, because there was so many TV shows on at that time.
Let's keep it a buck. The people who didn't see Moonlighting is the people who were born after 1995.
I mean, I'm telling you, there's a lot. I mean, remember how much television was going on at that time. That's just like saying, you know, Hey, you never seen Heart to Heart? Well, yeah, some people did and some people didn't. Why? Because there was so much
But no,
television
but
going.
I get that. I get that. But no, I get that. But what I'm saying, like, let's sit to say I kept it to the exact same rules as I did with the girls. We took people off the list because we look at them now more as TV stars than film stars.
No, but
So
see that was people,
like George
but
Clooney.
that was people that we took people off who were jumping back and forth, with the exception of Kerry Washington, and it's only because she carried the whole season. Bruce Willis would be the same thing. He stayed through the whole moonlighting thing. Same thing with with Will Smith.
Okay.
He stayed through the whole Fresh Prince.
But like, okay, but that's but like I said, if I'm looking at guys, and I said I could pick 20 guys, like the two guys would be George Clooney and Idris Elba.
Right.
Would I
Clooney,
keep them? Would I
You-
keep them on for TV? Because now we
No.
look at them as a full-fledged movie star.
No, yeah,
Right.
but kind of saying what Kev said. Clooney, that show went on without Clooney. He went on to become a movie star.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I would consider Clooney a movie star at this point because the show
And
went
the same
on
thing with
without
Idris
him.
Elba.
You're right. Yeah.
No,
Idris Elba is- I
stop.
think Idris.
See, that's because you're only thinking American TV. Because if you
No,
go
I'm
back,
considering Luther too. I'm considering Luther. I'm
but
considering
even
Luther.
outside of Luther, he was still doing a bunch of TV stuff. So he was still his main bag was Luther and The Wire. Luther and The Wire were the two main
Okay,
things. That really
I understand. I understand it, but what I'm sitting here saying is simply
I can keep Idris
is
television.
that if I
can
keep
go
it to
either
the
way with
same
that.
rules, Idris
But
Elba today
that's
would
what
be
I'm
looked
saying.
at as
Going by
a
the
film star.
rules, the he's not a movie star. Idris Elba got most of his because we just got Luther. Well, we didn't even get Luther later on because
I go by the test, like I said. Put 100 people in a room and say Idris Elba was the first thing that comes to mind. Most people are gonna say The Wire.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Most people are gonna say The Wire, and maybe Luther, and then they'll start mentioning some of his movies. So I could keep Idris on the list. Because of that.
Okay.
Because that's the first thing
See,
that comes to mind.
and I
Right?
But see, I think that if I was to do a male, that would be a problem for a lot of the guys who I probably would sit there and say, yeah,
Right.
because
Went
they
on
have.
to
Because
go
it seems
movie
that
stars.
the guys have
Did it
gone
a
on to
lot.
movie stars faster. The girls, most of the ladies on that list, they have made done a movie here or there, but really the bulk of their work is in television and just TV, right? Like I got down there, Terry Hatcher. Yeah, Terry Hatcher was in a James Bond movie, but if you look at other movies that she's in, she's always played like a back role somewhere. Not the person. Same thing you could sit to say Heather Locklear, so and so and so on. So that's what I say. If I kept the same rules, that one. But it
wouldn't. It
are you
would
still considered
Idris
TV
Elba
or
because
movie?
they carried Idris Elba carried a whole series, and then a whole half a series with The Wire.
Right. I think it's if they're really mostly known for a specific television series, even though they went on to become movie stars, it's very possible. It's very possible. Like I bet you in 100 people in a room, if you say, "Hey, what's the first thing that pops in your mind when you say Johnny Depp?" Most of them not gonna say 21 Jump Street. They're gonna say
they say Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right?
If they're gonna say Edward Scissorhands,
Edward Scissorhands,
they'll say one of those other movies, Edward Scissorhands, or they're gonna say Pirates of the Caribbean,
Sleepy Hollow, and nobody will go to his first movie, which was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street, right? So I mean, at that point, we have to keep him on the movie star side, even though he started on 21 Jump, but 21 Jump Street went on without him. You know what I'm saying? He left 21 Jump Street, and 21 Jump Street had another season or two after Johnny Depp left. So, and even if they didn't, he's not known for that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's not the first thing that comes to your mind. She said Edward Scissorhands. See, there you go. Doris said Edward Scissorhands. Doris also mentioned that she never watched Luther or The Wire. Great, they're both great shows.
The Wire.
I'll share something with you, Doris. I never got into The Wire myself, and everyone always said, "You gotta see The Wire. You gotta see The Wire." I will watch it. It's on my list to watch, to binge. But when it was on, for some reason, I wasn't into it. And I'm that type of
Doris,
person that if I give you one or two episodes and I just don't get into it, then I got to come back to you later in time.
Doris, well, I could tell you as a fan of The Wire, I watched the whole season of The Wire 3 times. Just finished the third season. I just finished the watching it for the third time last Thursday, and now I'm rewatching Game of Thrones again from the beginning. I can tell you, The Wire is well worth it.
I mean, a lot of people say that. I
I'll
look
tell
at
you
The
that too.
Wire as the same way as I look
I'll
at
tell
Game
you
of
that
Thrones.
too.
I never got into Game of Thrones as well, but you hear nothing but accolades about it, and everyone loves it. So yeah, check the show out. It should be,
The writing, it was just, it's. I'll put it like this: we had New Jack City, we had all of that stuff, and none of that stuff was as real as The Wire. The Wire
Well,
was
The
100%
Wire, and
the
Oz.
yeah,
well,
it was
yeah, but
100% the
you
block.
gotta
Wire
remember
and Oz. Those are the
HBO
bookies.
kind of really set that off with The Wired, Oz, and The Sopranos. Really set off
Yeah.
just great writing
But
in
authentic, authentic, like
authentic to what's going on in the show, with Oz being prison and The Wire being the streets of Baltimore and the drug dealing and stuff like that, and the cops, and then you got The Sopranos being that family, mafia family, stuff like that.
but
The Sopranos was able to take what like Coppola did with The Godfather and take it to the next level
Expand
on
it.
the writing, expand it,
Yeah.
on the writing tip, where you get so engulfed with these characters who are basically criminals, right? Like, to me, it takes a good writer to make you root for a criminal. You know what I'm saying?
everybody that I don't want to spoil nothing for The Wire, but The Wire is kind of like the Game of Thrones. It takes a little bit longer for people to die.
Right, but people died. Yeah,
But
I
people
heard
die.
about
They gotta
that
go.
too.
They gotta go.
Right, which also, to me, at its core, is good writing, because
Everything about that
you know,
show, now that I think
at
about it,
its core is good writing, because
and they did their
people,
research. It's
even
not
though
just good
people
writing,
get
but writing that did their research, and they kept it a point to make it authentic. Because the one thing I can tell you, I've been to Newark, I've been to the res out east, I've been down to Memphis, I done been a lot of places, and it's like being on the block. No matter where you go, it's like being on the block, and you have that nervous energy while you're watching it. Like, I know something's about to pop off. So something's about to happen.
Shit, I've been to Baltimore. This girl that I know that I was dealing with, well, not personally, but like professionally. When I got to her house, the first time I got out the car and I'm looking around, I said, "Yo, this is where they filmed The Wire at." And she was like, "Yeah, they used to film it in her neighborhood." So you live on the block that was hot in The Wire. Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. There was one of the guys who I worked with in a film just recently. Shout out to Kiki Swenson. We did a film for her, and what was his name? So anyway, one of the guys I was working with on that film, I think he's from Baltimore, and he said something about he may live in that area or something like that, where they were shooting The Wire. I mean, right out the gate, they kept it authentic by shooting it in Baltimore. That's why
and the advantage was all those abandoned row houses, because that area was pretty much abandoned.
Doris says she
It
likes
still
period
is. It's worse
dramas.
now, but yeah.
You like period dramas,
And
huh?
HBO.
So have you gotten into another show I haven't gotten into that was very popular now? And it is a period piece. The Snowfall. Did you get into that, Doris?
Ooh, that's another one.
I like period pieces because I like Raising Kanan.
Missy loves that.
Missy loves.
She's the one that told me about Snowfall.
Well, I'll tell you this much: Snowfall is better than Raising Kanan, and Raising Kanan is great.
Yeah.
And Snowfall,
like I said, at some point, me, I think Doris also mentioned she's like she has to be in the mood for these stuff. I kind of have to be that way too. The only reason why I continue to watch the just like say the Powers because I'm invested in some of the characters because of the first show. So even though there's a bunch of new characters on Raising Kanan, I'm invested in the Kanan character because I followed him for 6 seasons on, or technically for him 5 seasons or something like that, whatever many seasons he was in. But I followed him from there on Power. Uh, I just don't know if I have room in my life right now for new characters of that same
That's what I'm
genre.
saying.
So I have to wait until I get in that mood, like Doris says, and say, okay, you know what? I got time now. Let me watch The Wire. You know what I mean? I did the same thing with Breaking Bad, and I was
Still ain't
pleasantly
got to it.
not surprised, but I was very
No, you said it
pleased.
right. You was pleasantly surprised, like
Yeah,
everybody else.
yeah, I was pleasantly surprised how good Breaking Bad really was. And when until I watched it, same deal. So it took me almost, if you want to think about it, it took me 5 years to watch Breaking Bad because it was
Wow.
on for 5 seasons and I didn't watch it. I
I
watched
still
one
haven't seen
episode
it.
when it
All
was
I saw was
on.
the last 10 minutes of the end.
I saw
I
one
know how it
episode,
ends.
right. I saw one episode when it was on, and I wasn't really impressed. And then I never watched it again. And then I decided when it got on Netflix, I said, you know what? I'm gonna give this a shot. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I was like, yeah, it's okay. And then by like the third episode, I couldn't believe I didn't watch this show. You know, what I mean, I was like, oh my god, the writing on this show is excellent. But
Yeah, that was kind of
um,
the same thing with me with Game of Thrones.
right,
I started watching, and then I don't know. I kept watching it when I was tired, so I would lay down. Then one day I was just like, no, I'm not gonna lay down. I'm gonna sit down because everybody was talking about the red wedding, and then they talked
yeah,
about
everybody talked about different
the other
things.
thing
There
that
was no point. There was nowhere you could go in your work, your home, or on the
somebody was
internet
talking about
without
it.
somebody talking about
Yeah.
it and spoiling it. But
So at that
to
point,
me,
oh, you know who got me? You know who got me? Katie Mack got me.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
who got me. She posted a video of when Cersei was doing the walk of shame,
yeah,
and this chick was bawling,
yeah.
crying
Yeah.
on Facebook. I was like, what? I'm like, wait, what is this? They got this woman all in her feelings.
Yeah.
And
Doris, thank you for joining us. She said her
mm,
phone is dying, so
oh,
we're
good
gonna
night,
be
Doris.
a few minutes.
Good night,
Good night.
Doris.
We appreciate you. Definitely come back next week. Have a good one. Yeah. So, and she also mentioned before that she said she did not. I did not watch Breaking Bad. I guess because I get tired of the criminal element. Yeah, I mean, you have to be. Some people you have to be in the mood for it because right now there's these shows. Even if you look at, like I said, I was talking with my agent, my manager about presenting some stuff to a particular big production company, and the head of that production company, who was black, said, hey, I don't want. We got enough stuff like Power and Snowfall that's doing that, talking about painting black folks in this particular world. I want something with a black lead that's not like that.
Like that, yeah.
All right. So
But
cool.
what the
I mean,
crazy part about it is, though, is that even when you look at that, the perspectives that it's all from are totally different.
yeah,
Like the Wire was strictly the block. Like that was the block.
yeah,
You didn't see that. You didn't see no. You really didn't even see when outside of the block getting re-ups. You never saw
hmm
you never saw the middle people doing
hmm
re-ups. I think like maybe one episode you saw middle people doing re-ups.
yeah,
For the most
yeah,
part, well, actually, no, I'm lying. No, I'm not lying. Because for
hmm
the most part, after season two, the Greek, you didn't find out that the Greek spoilers, you didn't find out that the Greek was you didn't watch it, Wes. I can't even say nothing. Anyway, but like
it's years
but like
down the line.
Snowfall showed it from a whole other perspective, like how it started in L.A. But not only that, it dug into the whole thing about the Iran Contra, or with the Contras, and how they were paying for the Contra stuff. They were paying with drug money during the regular administration. The shit that Oliver North got in trouble for.
Yeah,
they touched on it like that. Then you got whatchamacallit on Netflix, which I love. Oh my God, I love. Homeboy from Homeboy that's gonna be in Black Panther is Namor. He was in it.
Yeah. You talking about the Narcos?
Yeah, Narcos. That's a whole nother that perspective is from the perspective of the supplier. And so it's I get what people are saying, and then Ozark's another one. That's oh my God. Ozark is like Breaking Bad. That's the white collar. That's the white collar perspective of drug dealing.
Yeah. I mean, Ozark did remind me of Breaking Bad a little bit. They're two different subjects in a way, but it did remind you of Breaking Bad because, like you said, that whole white collar thing. That it's really like white collar crime gone wrong.
Yeah.
Because it was white collar crime, but then next thing you know, it turns into straight.
Ozark was just crazy how that thing. I just but it went down. Yeah, but it was just so. It was.
But Breaking Bad stayed true to its name. You know, you got this guy, but I'm not gonna explain. Everybody knows what it's about. But anyhow, just to wrap that up and wrap all of this stuff up, we will eventually, like Ralph said, we have to put that a little bit on the back burner. But if someone like Kass or somebody wants to step up and start doing
give us a hand
and give us the hand and put that together, then hey, we have no problem doing it. It's like I said, this tournament is not a meat market, so we talk about a lot of things on it, so we don't mind doing it for the dudes, for whatever. That's fine.
Gotta do something for ladies. Gotta do something for ladies.
Gotta do something for the ladies so they can say, hey, they can chime in on it. Maybe we'll make that, being that we only, let's just say Kass does help us with it. That's one female's perspective. Maybe we'll take that. We'll have to take our time with that. Maybe we'll do polls and let the women of the world speak. You know what I'm saying? And put polls.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and have narrow it down.
Get Doris in on that.
Yeah,
that one.
And
even the young lady that called in last week.
Yeah, go from 65 back. Between 65 and 30.
Well, even younger than that, because
true.
You gotta go younger than that.
Well, but how far are you taking it? Because see, if you say younger than that, it kind of stops. If you're going to the are you stopping in the two? Are you doing the same thing we did with the women? You're stopping
the same thing. Probably stop like in the 2010s or something like that.
Yeah, 2010s. Same thing. 70 to 2010. I like the time range 70 to 2010, and then four classic ones, maybe someone from a little older, like the 60s that let's say for example, sake of argument, I might put William Shatner, Kirk from back then on that list. I mean, I think most people say he was
you see that? Yeah, see that list expands backwards because you got Humphrey Bogart, you got who else? What's his face from
Bogart is a movie
movie actor. We're not
he's movies.
But somebody from the 60s like him, like I said, I'm sure like from that time, some women may think that maybe Telly Savalas was good looking because of the bald head, because Telly
Savalas did have a lot of female. I remember my mother was attracted to Telly Savalas. My mother was like, man, Telly Savalas is good looking. Yeah, I mean, she liked him. So
Telly Savalas and Tom Magnum. I mean, Thomas. What the hell is his name in real life?
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. Yeah.
Yeah,
But he's
Tom
in the
Selleck.
80s, so yeah, you
He's
had
in
to
the 80s. Yeah,
put
Tom
Tom Selleck
Selleck.
on there, of course.
Yeah,
You
you got to
know,
put Tom
but like I
Selleck.
said, I just think like we're sitting here talking, right? Yeah, like we're sitting here talking. Like I used to love the show NYPD Blue, right? Now, what's his name?
I see him in the face. The little short dude that was on Die Hard.
NYPD Blue.
Die Hard
From
2?
NYPD? No,
Oh, okay.
NYPD Blue. The Spanish. What's his name? The Spanish guy, right?
Oh, are you talking about
He was like
Are you talking about
um
Ricky Jimmy Smits?
Jimmy Smith, right?
Yeah,
But a
Jimmy
lot of
Smits.
women gravitated to Sipowicz, and Andy. They gravitated
Yeah.
to him. So like, I mean, if I went by the popular vote, it would be Andy over Jimmy Smith. Dennis
True.
Franz over Jimmy Smith. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not the person to judge that from the guys, because
Yeah.
when women may say how
I'm
I was gonna
going
say,
for the popular guy. I'm going for the most popular, or like it's easy for me to the
So
easy ones. I can pick out the what's his name? You just mentioned them, Kev.
Tom
Jimmy
Selleck.
Smith.
Tom Selleck. You can pick out the Tom Sellecks
Yeah,
of the world.
that's the easy stuff.
That's the easy part. That's the easy
But
part.
here's the thing: are we just going to leave it? Because now how are we going to judge it? I mean, no
That's what I'm
homo, but
saying.
I'm not trying to
I
be here for like 2 hours for 3 different Mondays talking about dude.
No, exactly. But that's why we'd have to have female hosts.
That's a good point too.
We have a female host up there, and they can kind of be like I said, we're gonna have to probably do polls, because obviously this is mostly
I got a
host
feeling this
girl
is going to be this is going to be a lady show. I think we can let the ladies take that over.
I think something like this we put on the back burner to next year. No,
right.
not
Yeah,
this
definitely
year.
to
Next
year, because this
year.
year's almost over. So definitely next year, maybe.
I
Kev,
say we have it set up by February.
Yeah,
For
that'd be a great.
Valentine's.
That's a great idea. Maybe we'll
That'd be
actually
good.
we'll actually get 2 or 3 female hosts
Exactly.
to take over that. Take
Matter of
over
fact,
that
what's
one.
the 3 girls that we had on a couple of months ago that have the oh man. Oh, I know one of them was a bartender, but they had that talk show and they came on the show, the 3 of them. Let's get the 3 of them back on.
Yeah, we could get them, or just three ones. Well, one of them you talking about? They had the Just Spice talk show. Is that what you talking about? You talking about them?
Yeah, the
But
Just
one
Spice
of them
girls.
is Catherine.
Yeah.
We had Catherine back on. Remember Catherine Nunez?
She
Who's
came
an
back
actress now, and yeah.
Or I got a better suggestion. We get all the girls from Groupie and have them on.
Have them do it. That'd be
Right.
great. That'd be fun. Yeah, they do it.
Yeah.
We've had some of them on. Catherine's in Groupie. Lexi, Calderon. She's in it. She's been on a couple times.
And we gotta get Alice too. Alice.
I'm
get Alice.
But if you really trying to sell them on this to get them on, it may have to be expanded to a mix up of movies and television.
No, they can do television. But what I would do is, to be honest with you, is because of some of them, they all represent different generations, or we have to get some that represent different generations. Like Lexi is Gen Z, but she definitely, watches, she watches a lot of movies and television, so she may have a knowledge beyond the average Gen Zer because she cares. So
everything's not old.
Right, everything's not old to her. She it's art because she's an artist herself. So we'd have to get people that kind of can really relate to so we'd have to get people to represent the generations, but we'll figure it out. But we won't leave you out.
That's a long way. It's January, February.
That's time to put that together, though.
January, February. We'll work on something like that.
I agree. We'll work it out. That could be our Valentine's show. Let the ladies take over and do their tournament.
If people listen, go to the
Exactly.
movies. God damn, I'm tired of going to the movies. And I enjoy being in a nice movie by myself sometimes. But goddamn, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to switch gears. But goddamn, go to the movies. Go see a classic movie when it comes out. I went to go see Jaws, and there was literally 10 of us in the movie theater, maybe less.
Yeah, well, I mean, bro, they're not even seeing movies that's just coming out, so they're not gonna go see no the classic movie.
I don't
These
get it.
cats
Like
ain't seeing the
You
even
know
my
movies
what?
that's
daughter
I
going
think,
in.
but you know, I
Yeah,
think the
Ralph.
problem with that one, I think that the movies that they pick to be classics are things that we could see anytime on television nowadays. I mean, Jaws is literally, I think, just on last week.
Yeah.
And it
So
was
like,
in
if I just saw last week on AMC, why am I gonna go to the movie theater and pay X amount of dollars? Now we don't like honestly, I did not know we was having a show tonight because I got on my Regal app that the Regal one of the Regals near me was playing Star Trek 2 tonight. They're playing it tonight for like because Star Trek Day is this week.
Ooh.
Right, so they're playing they played
You
Star
playing the
Trek 2 the
Rapid
Wrath of
Khan?
Khan today, and I was like, oh shit,
Wow.
it was at 8 o'clock. It was at 8 o'clock. I was gonna go, and then we're doing the show. I was like, because I
damn it.
would have went to go see Star Trek 2 on the big screen.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
You
it's
know, because
that's
they only
something
playing because
that people either that
Star
you
Trek Day is
miss.
Wednesday.
Right. If you miss that seeing it and you want to go see it, but I'm not expecting a packed house at this point in time because they can't even pack the houses with these new movies that are coming.
It makes no sense to me. Like when The Exorcist came out, when they did the director's cut in the theaters, yo, that theater was packed out.
Yeah, I know, but shoot.
Yeah, but see,
people
the
walked
thing with
out of
that is
that
that
too
it's
when it got too scary.
They did.
People walked out of that when she came down them stairs looking like a spider backwards, and that was it. People was like, okay, I'm out. I
Yeah.
can't watch this.
But I just think we're in a different time now. If we didn't have a pandemic and they would, and I think also the thing with this National Movie Day is that honestly, this is the first time I ever heard about this. It's not something that has like a tradition, like it's been going on for years.
No, this is the first
It's the
time.
first time I
This is the
heard
first
about
time
it.
they did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So maybe and you're doing it only to post pandemic, trying to get people back.
Yeah, they're trying to. That's what
They're
they're trying to do. They're
trying
trying
to
to
get
get
people
It's
back to the
like
people
in
movies.
2 or
back
3
to the
years down the line.
movies.
Yeah.
But like I said before,
But I
and
think
I continue to say it. The movies will never die, but it's definitely changing. And as our generation starts to die off, so will the movies.
Yeah.
Because
now what they
the
should
young
have
generation
did.
is like, I'm watching the movie like this on my phone. Or
Now
I'm
see
watching it on
now
my
that
computer.
that's what I'm gonna say. What they should have did if they were gonna have National Movie Day, they should took some of the movies that are on streaming services like Prey, the Marilyn Monroe movie that's coming out. For that one day, you could have saw that on the big screen. I would have went to go see Prey on the big screen. That I would have did, or what's the Samaritan? I would have went to go see that one. If you told me for one
I
day,
still gotta watch that. I still haven't watched
I liked it.
But I would have went to go see that on the big screen compared to going to see
was one of
Jaws
those
again.
films. Samaritan was one of those films, like, let's just say what I mean. Like, it's like one of them break, like Chronicle. Like, it's not like the film, but what I mean is it's a break. It's a superhero film that's not a superhero film. It's like a break from the superhero
traditional
film, traditional style, but it is. So, you think of Chronicle, you think of Hancock, you think of, it's not like none of those films, but it's, it's the same.
It's in that same
family, yeah. Where it's like, oh, okay, or
You-
even
you know what?
Slight, or any of these films where it's like, oh, or even the film with Jamie Foxx, that was.
Oh yeah, Power or whatever the name. What was
Yeah,
the name of that movie?
Power. Yeah, Project Power.
Yeah, there you go. If they,
Even that
now
vampire
if they would have
movie
did that,
he
they said
just did
on this daddy
was mad good.
Yeah.
But I got that.
But they would
This is my
National
last
Movie Day, I
question.
would've
This is
been
my
like,
last question for the night. Do you think? Because I just thought about this when you said when Ralph mentioned if certain movies would have came out in the theaters, do you think that Netflix, I understand they don't have theaters to really put their stuff in, and they're not caring about that because they want their movies to pick up more subscribers. But my question is, do you think that because of stream. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say because of streaming. Yeah, I will. I'll say because of the added bonus of streaming. Do you think that they're testing that the movies that are being tested for that that we say like why didn't this come out like Ralph said Prey like that would have been a perfect movie for IMAX or for RPX screen. Like I would have totally enjoyed that. That was just movie was just awesome. But do you think my question is do you think that screenings for these movies where they're doing the testing, audience testing, do you think like is it the audience testing that's affecting like why some of these movies are going straight to streaming and
It
not
could
going
be.
to theaters?
It could be. I mean, that's the point of audience testing at this point in time because now we do have streaming. The point of audience testing, one of the points, I'm sure, obviously the main point is to see that it has an audience, that it will have an audience, and people,
Would you stay home? But I think that's kind of a cheat code to automatically send something to streaming because 9 times out of 10, if you say to somebody, "Okay, how did you enjoy this movie? Would you enjoy this movie better at home or in a theater?" The average person is going to say at home.
Yeah.
Somebody like us,
Most people, yeah.
That ain't afraid of monkeypox, which I'm glad that thank you, Regal, for wiping down all the seats after every show. I appreciate it because I was concerned about that. But most of us are going to
I
be
mean, I
like,
think that's part of. I think that process is part of it, Kev. To answer your question, I think that is part of the process. They're going to weigh all these things against each other, and at the same time, a lot of the big studios are getting their own streaming and stuff like that because they're like, look, we're not going to let this happen to us again. It's not happening again.
we're not the music industry.
Yeah, right. It's not gonna right. We're learning from our mistakes. So because we weren't on board with stuff like that, and we weren't prepared for something like a pandemic that literally almost crippled the industry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, at least the theater industry, filmmaking was still going on, but it almost crippled the theater industry. So they're like, look, all the studios is losing money. We're gonna be prepared for that this time around. So yeah, I think all of that stuff, test screenings. Go ahead, Ralph. Go ahead.
No, what I think it is, I think it's just based down to the simple dollar, right? You have a streaming service and you need to build that clientele. You need to build that library. So you take a movie which you say, hey, we could put Prey in a movie and you get $60 million, let's say. However, we could put that on our streaming service and we can get a whole bunch of subscribers to know about our service. So we have to keep the movie go, but still build up the streaming services. So I think unless it's a full on,
but that doesn't work for a movie like Prey because
I think unless it's already like a full.
Yeah, finish your point.
I think
Ralph, finish your point.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, like what you were saying, yeah, even though Hulu is an established streaming service, you got to keep building because now you got more and more competition. So you still got to feed it something fresh and new instead to say, okay, we got Deadpool 3, we got Prey, and we got the next Iron Man 3. We could put them all on streaming services, but we want to put one streaming service to keep that clientele going and at the same time have the movies there going. So you may take Prey, which could probably maybe do well because the last couple of Predators really haven't done that great at the box office, but we know we put it on streaming service, it'll do great. Then we see it say, well, damn. First thing we say, well, damn, y'all should have put this on the big screen.
But now I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna add this as well. Let's be honest. Now this is where the power of social media and word of mouth comes into play. Because you have these things that come on the streaming or whatever network, and literally it's just the people that are word of mouth and using social media to hey, I just watched, because remember memes are like advertisements now. You know what I'm saying? They're like another way of advertisement. In perfect example, when Bird Box came out, and that was strictly on Netflix. That became popular strictly because everyone was talking about it, and people who never saw it, never heard of it, was like, I gotta see what this Bird Box is all about. What are they talking about? What's this joke? What's this meme? What is it?
I felt. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the few times I fell into the trap. I was like, Bird Box. I was like, oh yeah, I got to see this. Everybody talk about it. It must be good.
Yeah, I haven't. I still haven't seen it, but because of you guys, I did go watch The Old Guard, and I thought that movie was awesome. It was great.
Oh yeah.
Would I have
It's
like?
exactly
Would I have
word of
like
mouth.
to see that on the big screen? Yeah,
I would have
I
loved to
would
see
have.
that
But
on the big
but
screen.
they
The
looked and
Old
said,
Guard. Yeah.
yeah. But they probably looked at it and said, no, we don't know if this really going to be successful. But we know it's. I put it to the same way as back in the VHS days when you had the A-list blockbusters, Predator, but then you had the B-list, and you had movies that were on the B-list that we'll just slide this right to direct to VHS. You know, and if it does well, it does. Because hell, one of my favorite movies that I saw that was a B-list was a movie called Blind Fury with Rucker Hauer.
Yeah, of course.
Oh
movie
yeah,
is awesome.
Yeah, it was a great
It
movie.
should have been on the
Great
big
movie.
screen, but they stuck it
Should
straight.
have been.
They stuck it straight. Same thing with this other movie. I'm giving you guys some movies. I Come in Peace.
Yeah, I
Find
remember
that movie with Dolph
I remember
Lundgren.
that.
I
No,
Come in
I
Peace.
saw it.
But
I
that
remember that.
yeah, but that went to video. It was
Dolph
like they did this for a
Lundgren.
hot second, and they yanked it, and they went to video, and then video it got real popular, right? But nowadays you got to look at it. I say, you got my theatrical, or we're gonna put it to streaming service. We could keep building our audience, put it on streaming services, because we're not too sure if the audience is gonna come see it on the big screen because you got so many choices. But I think you got the same problem when you put it to streaming. You got so many choices, but I think they're weighing the odds like. Even if we put it on our streaming service and you don't want to watch it, you're still coming to our streaming service to watch something. So we're still going to get your money. You're still going to get something from us. You may not watch this, but you're going to watch something, right?
Yeah.
And
it's
because
oh, go ahead, Ralph. I'm sorry.
I'm saying because Paramount, to a degree, bucked the trend because they could have put Top Gun on the streaming service, and Tom Cruise was like, "No, we're not doing this. Need to go into a theater."
Yeah.
Is that the anomaly?
No.
Right. No, because he was very adamant. It is not going to stream it. And now they rolled the dice, and now you got a $700 million movie, a $1.4 billion movie, right? But can you roll the dice with Beverly Hills Cop 4? I think it's a Paramount movie. You're gonna roll if we go through something, so you're gonna roll the dice and say, no, we're gonna hold off and put it into a theater because this is going on, but we're gonna put it on streaming. We're gonna hold out until it's the right time to put it in theater. Or do you say, the hell with it, we'll put it on our streaming service? I don't know if that's going to become a trend or is it just an anomaly? Because most people say, a lot of people say Top Gun 2 Maverick was maybe at best $100 million movie that would have did good, but nobody saw $250 million coming. Nobody saw that coming.
No, no one saw that coming.
Not from that.
It was a good movie. Nobody saw that coming. No, but I agree with you. But well, that's something we can discuss next time. But we want to thank our guest co-host Kass Hill. She came on and hung out with us as we always do. We like to just get up there. It's funny because all of our female hosts, guests that came on, they always hit us up. They always hit me up afterwards, like, "Oh, I had a great time," blah 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 blah. So it's cool, man. It's cool to have. I really do want to eventually have a permanent female co-host that could come on and give her perspective. It's gonna be tough to find.
We didn't grill her. We didn't ask her no movie questions. We took a light on you. Next time.
Yeah. Next time you come back. Yeah, we didn't ask you no movie questions. We got
We
you
gotta put you
next
to the
time,
test.
though. Yeah, we just was letting you give your opinions and stuff like that. And yeah, like I said, thanks for coming on. We had fun. Thank you for everybody who joined the chat room. Shout out to Doris. Shout out to Sexy 60. Shout out to Joseph, of course, holding us down always. Who else jumped in? Who chimed in on this? A couple other people who chimed in, and shout out to all of y'all that came through. Make sure, I'm sure you guys already subscribed. That's probably how you knew the show was on. So, but everybody else come through is a Bobby Ruffin. Shout out to him. Thank you for joining us. And like I said, man, we will come back next week and do the same thing. Now that we've kind of got everybody back and stuff like that, I will be reaching back out to Miss Diane Franklin. Diane Franklin, I do definitely apologize that we didn't do the shows when I was thinking about doing it, but we're going to set that up because we really want to have you and the cast on, and I really hope that you can maybe get out. I'm going to send her a official invite that she could hopefully send to the director of The Last American Virgin, and maybe even the guy, Stephen Anton. Maybe he might want to join us or whatever. And we'll see if we can get a little bit of a cast reunion. More than 3 people. We can get like a 4 or 5 people cast reunion. That would be awesome. Plus the director. That would be awesome. So, Miss Franklin, we will be setting that up. Thank you again. Shout out to you. Yes, and good night. And y'all have a safe, just be safe. We'll get back to y'all next Monday. And as we always say, you can love us, you can hate us, but don't forget about us.
Happy Star Trek Day. Be prosperous.
Yeah. Live long and prosper. Live long and prosper, right?
Live long and prosper.